Live. We are live. Hello, everybody. If anybody's here, it doesn't say yet.
Welcome to the chaos.
Welcome to the chaos of the Hero of Ages live show. Okay, so 4 people are here. We're gonna give it a few minutes, let people come on in before we get going. So, how is everybody? How's your day?
Tired.
I
feel like everybody's just exhausted.
We're all tired.
I have a fever. I'm tired.
Nice.
Yes.
My whole body hurts.
Casey, we should play a game like see who survives the entire live show.
That's what I was saying.
Yeah. Who gets out first?
Listen, I got a whole thing of Pedialyte. It's gonna be fine.
Look, Pedialyte fixes everything.
It does.
It really does.
Pedialyte's great.
It's like you're sick,
The silver lining
hungover,
is
you're good.
Yes.
silver lining is that if someone like passes out or dies on stream, we might go viral.
True.
It's like our Hero of Ages live show was so realistic. Half the people died. At least we'd get the watch time hours boosted. Okay, I'm just
there.
saying.
You go.
Katrina's here.
Katrina's
here.
Yay! Scroll it down. Okay, so Katrina did not finish Hero of Ages. How far did you get? They said they were spoiled for the ending, but like, how much of the ending?
Yeah.
What do you know? Also, just for anybody who's here, we're gonna go full spoilers on this one.
Yeah, full spoilers.
Yeah, there's no safety.
Era 1 spoilers. Now, if anybody in the comments gives any spoilers past Hero of Ages, I will yeet you into the void.
I am ready to just
be ready. I'm not taking be ready.
You shall be yeeted.
Katrina's frozen.
Like, Brie, I'm not in the comments though.
Like Casey when we did
I'm not
that.
in the comments though.
I can eat you from the live stream.
I can eat you from the live stream.
Like, was it Casey when we did the reading sprints the other day? And Casey was like, "Bye," and then she
yes, that was really good.
I didn't mean to. My computer restarted the browser. Okay.
We're like, "Oh no, it's still going, but our host is gone."
Oh no.
All right.
Oh, Katrina,
you're here. You're good. Are we good?
Okay,
yeah.
Cool. I could still hear you, but it seemed like there was some problems on my end.
Yeah,
you were frozen. You're good now.
We've got you now.
Okay.
It's fine.
I know what happens to most of the major characters and pretty much everything about the magic stuff that happens, and I was gonna watch anyways, so I'm fine with getting.
So you're fine with being full on spoiled for all the details that you miss. How far did you get? Like, how far did you get in your read?
I got
just for reference.
Chapter 42.
Oh boy, that's well behind the end of the book. If you're fine with getting spoiled, you can stay. Like, if you're fine with that, you can stay.
Oh yeah.
Into the void?
Okay. I'm fine. I read the last 30 chapters in the past 12 hours, so who cares anymore?
Like all a blur. That's okay. I will allow you to stay if you're okay with being spoiled.
We will allow it.
Well, before it started, Casey was like, "If Katrina hasn't finished, I'm throwing her out." I was like,
but if you don't mind being spoiled, then you can stay.
Yeah, if you're okay with the spoilers, then you can stay. That's
the person who ruined the ending for you. I hope you're ready to just cut them out of your life.
Yeah.
just instant ban them.
The end of Hero of Ages is like my favorite ending to a series of all time.
Did you say it was like Sanderson's only ending so far?
Okay, for the Cosmere, Hero of Ages is Sanderson's only ending because Stormlight's still going. Elantris, while technically works as standalone, is going to get sequels. Warbreaker going to get sequels. Era 2 not finished yet. Like all the Cosmere stuff. It's the only ending we have. And it's a good one, so my hopes are high.
It's not even all of his non-Cosmere work is ended though.
That's true. There's some unfinished non-Cosmeres as well, but he's done some endings outside of Cosmere.
Yeah.
And now he's trying to take over book 2 too.
Yeah.
Yes. Hello,
and
everybody
do it.
coming into the chat.
Yeah,
hello,
he's just gonna do it.
I hope his booktube doesn't make him too busy to write.
I mean, he's had that channel for a while. He's
had it for a while. He's been doing like streams.
He does streams and like weekly updates.
Yeah.
Still so asleep. I'm sorry.
Same
Still
as
get
Julie
5
saying.
Listen, I'm not in charge of when we do these.
I make
promise.
no promises on this one.
Definitely not.
No promises.
Well, Era
That's
2 is a
true.
separate series. This is an ending to a series.
It does like
Era 1
wrap.
is its own series.
It's like
Yeah.
a yes and a no, though. Because, like,
No, Era 1 is its own thing. It's very separate from Era 2. It is completed.
it is completed.
It is complete. It's an ending, I promise.
Oh,
Like,
it's definitely
there's
an
multiple
ending.
Mistborn series coming, but they're all their own series. It's
Yeah.
technically chronological for the world, but like that's all that's happening is the world's continuing.
Very different.
It's very
It's very different.
Friends who's made it to the fucking second book in Era 2 already knows how different.
It's
Zooming
a thing.
I like Era 2.
Era 2 is a good time. I don't remember it very well.
I remember it so
Recently
well.
discovered. It's okay.
Okay,
Casey and
who has-
Casey would share the memory.
Yeah,
It
we do.
would give me anxiety to have so many working projects at once. Just like finish
too.
one, do another.
Couldn't do it. I couldn't do it.
I couldn't do it either. I don't know how his brain works.
Mm-mm.
He's a mystery.
True. All right. So what were you gonna say, Casey?
I don't remember. I have a fever.
If Casey just starts like yammering gibberish, don't worry about it.
Right.
So it's just, you know,
So how about Kelsier and Fortnite?
Yeah,
it's my favorite thing.
Nobody saw that coming. It's
No.
wild. Thank you, Ange. Thank you. It's a full real dress. You'll see
Yeah.
it when I do the cosplay video, which will go up next week.
Oh.
It looks so good.
Yeah, endings are super hard. Like
They
hard to
are
write.
hard. Yeah, that's why this is the only one that's ever like stood the test of time for me. I've been, even if it's like I like other endings, it's like something about it still just like disappoints a little bit or just doesn't hit like how much you want. But this, my favorite ending. But we'll get into that.
It hits you well.
We'll get to that. We're not going to start with the ending. We're gonna talk about the whole book.
Come on, we like to start with the end.
Thank you. All right. I think we've gone enough. So I will start by saying this is full spoilers for the first era of Mistborn, books 1, 2, and 3. Nothing past that. So no spoilers in the comments, please, for anything past Hero of Ages. Means no era 2, no Secret History, no Stormlight, no nothing. Okay?
Oh man.
Just focusing on Hero of Ages in all of era 1. Okay? So if you say spoilers in the thing, majig, I'm going to kick you out.
If you do it, I'll kill you and say you stole my horse.
There's Steph knows. All right. So yes, we will go around doing our introductions, and then we will start talking about the book. So, Casey, do you want to start your? No, I can't point. You're right. Over there. Start us off.
Hello, I'm Casey. I'm one half of Books Before Death. I'm dressed as Ellen Venture. I got my second shot of the Pfizer vaccine yesterday, so I have a fever. And that's all we got. So, Brie.
Yes,
My wife.
You're right. Yes, that's my. Thank you, husband.
We've
Technically,
seen husband and wife before.
Yeah, we have. Technically, Casey and I are cosplaying Vin and Ellen's dance scene in the book, like the specific scene. That's why I'm in a pole dress. Not just doing Vin and Ellen, but specifically. But yes, I'm the other half of Books Before Death. I'm Bree, also known as Vin sometimes. And here we talk about the Cosmere and sometimes other things, but not lately. So there's
Sometimes.
that. No, I keep doing it wrong, Steph.
Hey guys, my name's Steph from the channel Coffee Over Apples. I am a Koloss, specifically trying to be human. Can you see me? And I mostly read sci-fi, horror, fantasy, anime, manga, and run some book club stuff. So come say hi. And there's Max.
Hey, I'm Max from Max Read. I'm not in costume today because I'm lazy and tired. And, my channel is single book review videos, and I read every single genre. And I'll pass it to Jesse.
Hey, I relate to Max being lazy and tired and not getting dressed up, but that's kind of what you get with me. I run a channel, The Bookish Mom, so I am tired all the time because I have 2 kids. I read a lot of fantasy and some sci-fi, and now I will pass it on to that way. To Spook.
Almost.
I'm Spencer. I'm from the channel Sphinx Reads. I do single book reviews, but technically I'm also like super lazy because this is literally a cardigan worn backwards. So,
I love it.
Set a trend.
Yes.
You cat.
You also have the.
Oh, yeah,
You have your
okay.
blindfold. You're good.
It's great. Hi, I'm Katrina. I mostly read contemporary fiction, comics, nonfiction. I haven't uploaded a video this month. I work in politics, and there was an election this month here. Things got busy. I also am dressed as a ska again, because this is what you do when you have a busy month.
Yes.
I respect that.
Yeah,
I
for
love
sure.
that.
For sure.
We should briefly, before we get into the actual book discussions, talk about Bree's wig, because it's the funniest thing to me.
The story of this, the origins. I did talk
The
about it in my
origin.
cosplay vlog. This wig was purchased by my boyfriend before he was my boyfriend about 5 years ago, because he cosplays
At least.
as Snape at Harry Potter conventions. He used to have long hair, but he cut his hair. So then he was like, "Oh, I have to have a wig for my cosplay now." So he bought this trashy wig. I had to fix it. It's a little nicer now. And he walked down at the convention. This was when I first met him in person. And he walked down at the convention with the wig on, and we all looked at him and laughed. And then he never wore it again. And it's been sitting in a bag in a closet for 5 years, so it
Sorry,
needed
Justin, but
some
The
work.
fact that he kept it.
I mean, it was
All
just
those
in a
years.
bag in a closet.
he has
He's not
faith.
good at throwing shit away.
No.
Neither am I, though. with
Yeah,
the
that sounds like
problem.
my husband too.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
where
just
did
like just throw it in the closet. That's not my problem right now.
I just can't look at that wig and not be like, oh, LA, Snape.
Yeah. I didn't want to wear my original Vin wig from the Final Empire one, because like her hair has grown out at this point. It's been many years.
It's been
in
many
world,
years.
and her hair is supposed to be around shoulder length. So I was like, but I didn't have time to buy a new wig, and I was like, I can make something of this nasty stuff. It's really gross in person, but it works on webcam. You can't tell, so it's
You
okay.
can't see the Snape grease. It's fine.
You can't see the grease. It was so matted when I took a brush to it. It was like matted. I was like, oh god, just running my brush through it. Anyways, there's your history on this wig.
The
It
wig
was funny to me.
history.
For those of you who are wondering. So yes, all of the links to everyone's channels will be in the description down below. So once again, if you are not already subscribed to our wonderful co-hosts here, please do so. You're missing out if you're not. As you can see, look at all these wonderful people. So yeah, once again, only spoilers for Mistborn Era 1. No spoilers past that point in the comments, please. And let's get started. Does anybody have anything they want to kick us off on, just with discussion? Anything specific? Who wants to start us off? Should I start us off? Like, there's
You
a
can-
lot to talk about.
I feel
There's
like
so
I feel like
much.
you should take the lead. Bri.
Okay. Well, first, let's go into ratings. What did everybody rate it? Let's start there.
4 for me.
Spencer for all of the stars. Okay. All right. Cool. So, I mean,
Cool, I guess.
I'm
Yeah.
cooling you. It's better than my okay. Less panicky than my okays. So I don't know where to start us off. There's so much.
There's so much.
There's so much that happens in this book. What's just everybody's overall like feelings on it? Like, did you have a good time?
Can we say it was a good time? Like, is that? I don't think that works.
Did it hurt you so much that it was good?
Yeah,
Was it the good kind of
it
pain?
was the good kind of. It was the good kind of hurt.
The good kind of hurt.
I mean, like we've already talked about, it's our, like, both of us, it's our favorite ending to a series ever.
I've never been
Same here.
Same.
satisfied with a series ending. Hello, Josh. Thank you.
So,
Yes. Okay. What's everybody's favorite thing from the book? What's the best thing that you love the most? Any big or small
favorite thing or favorite, like,
Everything.
Everything. Sazed.
mm,
He's my whole
I think
favorite.
Caesar.
his journey in this book is
Just-
just something else.
I
It's
think
so
one of the
hard.
best things. Who's talking?
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, I think one of the best things about him for me across the series was that in each book, he is just such a totally different character because you see a different side of him.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
He absolutely has so much progression in like so many different ways through each book.
Yeah. And I think by the end of book 2, like, while stuff happens in book 3 to Vin and Elend, I think their character growth is pretty much done at the end of book 2.
Mhm.
But I think Caesar is one of the only ones who's still like developing all the way to the end of the series. So I really liked him for that.
I agree 100%. Yeah, there's like a little bit.
Still growing a little bit.
Yeah, there's a little
Yeah,
bit of growth, mostly with Ellen. Like Vin's already figured her shit out at this point. She's like,
She got this.
She figures it out pretty, like, you know, there's like a few moments in the beginning of Hero Ages when she's like, oh, okay, I can be both of these people, and this is who I am, and I'm okay with that. And Ellen still kind of has that journey going throughout the books. Takes him a while to get there, but like he's like right, he's just below it. Like he just needed a little nudge to kind of get to that completion for himself. Yeah,
I think with Elend though,
too.
with Elend though, I think a lot of his character development happened off screen, and that was kind of annoying.
That's fair. Yeah, that's one of the things, one of my complaints about the series, but like I understand it, is that there are the year-long gaps between each book. Like each book has a year-long gap between it, and so it references things that like you didn't get to see. And it's like, I understand why it was written that way, but it does frustrate me a little bit. Like there's things that are referenced and I'm like, I wanted to see that. Like I wanted to see this happen. I wanted to see more of this. And that part is hard. That's like my only complaint with like the series overall, is that I don't like that, but I get why it's written that way. So like, it's not a huge complaint.
It's like, I want it to be as long as a Stormlight book.
I'm going to take back Caesar being my favorite thing, because he's not actually. My favorite thing in book 3 was the Kandra.
I knew you were going to say that.
I just love some Kandra.
I was waiting for the Kandra discussion to start.
They're so much fun.
Honestly, Tensoon gives me so much life in this book. I love not only just like learning about everything with the Kandra, but I just love Tensoon so much as a character. I would die for Tensoon, okay?
He's a good dog.
He's a good dog!
He's a good dog. He's a good boy.
Sometimes he's a good horse.
A horse that smiles.
Yeah. So unsettling.
You know, whenever this gets turned into like movie or TVs, we're gonna have to like protest that has to be put in. Please make the horse smile.
Make the horse smile. That's gonna be just real creepy looking. Like
I want it to smile exactly like Donkey from Shrek.
Oh,
That's the smile we want.
Yes, I agree. Oh yes, but there's so much stuff you learn in this. Like there's the amount of shit you learn in this book is insane, because you're learning all the stuff about the Kandra. You're not learning a ton of stuff with Vin and Elend. Like most of the things you're learning are in the epigraphs, and there's so much information like nonstop coming at you in this book, whereas it's not like that in the first 2 books. It's just thrown in your face consistently, but I love it.
I will say, speaking about Sazed, for people that read this for the first time, like how early did you realize that Sazed was the Hero of Ages?
It baffles me that people don't guess it right away.
It was pretty early.
Yeah, we saw when you guessed it, Max. It was like you were like maybe like not even like a third into the book when you.
Yeah, I was probably about a quarter of the way through.
Yeah, you were not that far in when you guessed it.
Definitely somewhere in part 1.
Yeah.
Don't know where.
Yeah, that's pretty early.
That's
very early.
Yeah, and I know, Steph, that like for a while you were thinking that the epigraphs were like Vin, Elend, and Sazed. So like you picked up on Sazed's voice in it, but you thought it was all 3 of them doing it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like you definitely picked up on it, but you didn't nail it down.
Yeah.
I thought it was Vin at one point, but then it says Vin's name in an epigraph, and I was like, oh, it can't be her then.
Yeah.
I thought it was like in the beginning, I thought they were like switching off. Like maybe the 3 of them were working on it together.
That makes
sense. But then somewhere I was like, oh no, that's clearly the case.
I feel like the information and like referencing the other characters' names is so strategically dropped throughout the epigraphs throughout the book.
It really is, yeah.
Because then it's like, oh, it can't be that person because they're referencing them by name.
That's fair.
Honestly,
you weren't really trying to figure it out. You're just kind of going on the ride.
Yeah, saying that the first time I read it, I didn't catch on to that.
Yeah, see, that's the bad thing about audiobooks is like they might lean into voices that give things away.
I've never listened to that. For the graphic audio,
I've never listened to it.
The graphic audio, they switch between the 3 characters. They switch between Elend, Vin, and Sazed so that you don't know who it is. Like whoever's chapter is starting it reads the epigraph.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, that's cool. That's probably better.
Cool.
Yeah, you're meant to think it's Vin like all the way up until, you know, when it's clear that it's not. Like even Sazed thinks it's Vin until he realizes it's Sazed. So
I think I have a video of Alex.
Yeah. We watched that happen. We watched that.
I was in a car. Alex was driving.
Yep.
Oh.
I really wish I had that moment of realization at the same time that Caesar did. I feel like that would have been so perfect.
I did. Because I didn't know.
Did you?
The first time I read it, I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Well, see, the thing with me, like the first time I read it, like I will say that like after I got like a couple in, I was like, wait, is it Sazed? But on the first one, it says I am, unfortunately, the hero of ages. And I was like, well, who the fuck talks like that? Only Sazed.
Yeah.
Right.
Literally says another
The
sentence
voice,
like that
the
as
way
well.
it's presenting the information is like in such a like scholarly and delicate manner, the way that things
Yeah.
are phrased. And like there's moments when like I was doubting it. Like I immediately thought it was Sazed, but then I was like, wait, is this Sazed? Because of what it was saying. Because it really does try to kind of tease you along, but it's not like it's really trying to hide it. Like the first one makes it obvious to me. There is a line that Casey pointed out on her reread to me where Sazed literally goes, I am, unfortunately, in charge. And it's like, how do you not make the connection by this point?
I sent that picture to her.
Yeah.
Last
It's just
night.
like, it's there, but it's subtly done. So it's like not hard to guess, but it's also, if you don't guess it, it's a nice surprise. So it's like, it goes both ways, I think.
I was reading it so fast the first time I read them.
I think Casey and I both read Hero of Ages the first time in a day. In like one sitting. It was one sitting. She beat me by like 4 hours. I didn't either. I read it on my laptop on a PDF. It's fine.
Free will never recover.
I'll never.
That just sounds terrible.
My eyes burned for like a week.
I bet.
It was a bad time.
Listen, you were at that point of the book, and we had to drive to see Haley. So we were on the highway in like Connecticut.
Okay, speaking of this, can we just go back to this? Speaking of this, the very first epigraph in the Final Empire states he will hold the future of the world on his arms. It's the very first words you read is the first epigraph of the series. And it's just my favorite thing because it's like that is the way that that's phrased. It's like it's not like on his shoulders. It's not like carrying the weight of the world on his back. It's on his arms.
His arms.
And that phrasing there is so precise that like I was so sure that Max was gonna like pick up on that detail really early in book 1 and start thinking that Sazed was the hero in book 1 because you were picking up on so many little things in book 1.
The thing with that is like I probably didn't pick up on that because he's like an archive of information, so I didn't see it as storing the future. It's more storing the past is his entire job.
Yeah, it's super subtly done, but it's just like that line. And then that being the moment when he realizes it, when he's going through the prophecy at the very end, when he's like watching all this stuff happen, he's like, where's Vin? She's going to come. She's going to save us. And then he's like, sees her corpse fall. He's like, what? It's like a whole time. Who's calling me? Someone's to come down.
Yeah, the amount of times that
they probably want to talk about your car's extended warranty.
It's probably. I don't have a car.
I doesn't have a driver's license.
I don't have a car.
Oh yeah, that did happen. Casey and I were literally just screaming
We do that in real life.
on his arms.
We just yell at each other.
It's so like well done. Like the amount of foreshadowing in book 1 that comes to conclusion in book 3 is so well weaved. It blows my mind. Like if any of you guys reread the books, you're gonna pick up on so many things.
On reread,
it's so much.
I will one day, but I need to leave it like 5 years at least.
I'll just go ahead and tell you guys this now. My green tabs are foreshadowing, and this is the final empire. Green tabs are foreshadowing, and this is the final empire. Hero of Ages.
The only thing I went back to book 1 for was to count the symbols.
Yeah, I remember.
Oh yeah,
you freaking out about the symbols, the metal.
There
symbols.
was a big symbol discussion.
Yeah, Max just started sending us pictures, and we were trying to. I was at work when that was happening, and I was like squinting at them, trying to decode them. I used to have them memorized on site, like know which one was which, but the memory's gone out my brain.
There's definitely 23 though. Yes. Definitely 23.
Oh, yeah, Casey has the middle chart behind her. That chart has
I can't show it to you though.
It has spoilers.
I know.
And it's relevant somehow.
It's spoilers.
You know, book 3 was the only book where I didn't like the epigraphs.
The epigraphs,
really?
I like them because of how much information you're getting, but I can see why that itself is why you wouldn't like the epigraphs because it's not as like
they're very
a subtle
info
thing.
dumpy.
Yeah, it's absolutely info dumpy because it's all the stuff that Sazed learned after the fact.
It was the only thing that ticked me off was the fact that the only way we learned about hemalurgy in the whole book was epigraph info dump. Like it wasn't organically in the story at all.
Well, technically it is. I mean, the actual like stuff that happened is in the story. You just don't understand the explanations of it, and the explanations of it are in the epigraphs. I mean, like the Inquisitors are spiked, Vane was spiked, like all the stuff with people being spiked and being influenced by Rune, like that's in the story. You just don't understand how that's happening until you get those epigraphs explaining it. So it's like But I understand why it's just in the epigraphs because there's nowhere to put it in the story that would make it organic, like come across. Like I
It
get
would
why
still
it's
be
like
info dumpy if it was like randomly dropped
Yeah,
in the
if it
story.
was just,
Yeah,
and I understand that like where would they have learned that? Like Sazed understands that once he's holding the power, and that's the after like everything that you're reading the epigraphs is after Sazed is holding the power. So it's like he understands it now. I don't understand. Like I don't think there was a way they could have learned all of that on their own without like after the fact. So it makes sense that it is the way it is. But I get why like people wouldn't like them as much as the epigraphs in the first 2 books.
I love the epigraphs, but I'm just weird like that. I like that kind of thing.
It doesn't make it less stressful at all.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't help.
It does not help with the stress.
Mm-mm.
Does Era 2 have epigraphs?
No.
No. I had to think for a second. I struggled to remember Era 2. I don't know why. I haven't reread it as much as Era 1, but it does not have epigraphs. Stormlight has epigraphs. Those are a time. That's all I'm going to say about that. That's all I'm going to say about that.
Well, also, I feel like part of it is like I'm going back to this. The reread is almost more stressful because you know what's going to happen.
Like, yeah, you can anticipate it, and you can.
You're just like waiting for it to happen.
The best thing is the first time Casey and I read the book, right? We read it in a day, and we when we went to reread it, which it took us a while to reread, we reread it together as well. And we didn't remember how things like we knew what happened, but we did not remember how things happened. And so the first time Casey and I were rereading it, we're like at the end of the book, like we're on the same part, and we're like, there's 30 pages left, and Ellen's head is still on. What's happening? We're like, what is that? He's still alive. I don't understand because we just did not remember how quickly stuff happens and how quickly like it wraps up at the end. And it was a time rereading it for the first time because like all that information went out of our brain after the first read, and I don't know why, but. Once you read it 4 times, it tends to stick.
It's fun.
Sticks a little bit.
The ending
Go ahead.
Yes.
was so similar, almost exactly the same as the very ending of the Mortal Engines series.
Oh, really?
Mm.
Never.
It's a very, very similar ending, especially with what happens to Vin and Ellen right at the end.
I've never read that series.
One of them becomes God for a second.
One of them ascends to godhood and then dies.
And then
So
killing
there's
another
like
god?
there's the 2 main characters that are like a man and a woman that die at the end, and then there's somebody that is like that becomes ascendant, and like you think it's going to be them that saves the day, and then it's this other person you were never expecting the whole time, and then they're like watching over the bodies, tending to the bodies for like hundreds of years and stuff.
You're spoiling, Sela?
No, it's not a spoiler. It's not a spoiler. Don't worry, you still won't see it coming.
I just told you what happens, but you won't see it.
I mean, that's kind of like
just the trope.
Yeah, it's also kind of going to be how Katrina feels if you finish Year of Ages, even though you know everything that happened. You're still going to be like, what?
Like even
I'm
knowing the
very
events.
I thought this like the end is only 30 pages. It seems like that's a lot to fit in there.
Yeah, like literally, I'll just tell you. I think it's literally. I got to page like 39, 38, like 30 left, and I was like, Ellen's still alive. This is going fast. It's literally
the whole world.
I remember when Max is finishing it. Max is like, "There's not a lot left. How's this gonna wrap up?" Like you see how much pages is left, and you see where they're at, like what's happening, and you're like, "How can this end this fast?" But it ends so good. Like it's just so well done. I've never been that satisfied with it anymore. Like it hurt, but I was so satisfied.
Yeah, it's a satisfying ending.
Yeah,
It
like
was
comparing it
satisfying.
to Warbreaker. Like Warbreaker, like I was anticipating like a really good ending, but it was like a way too abrupt for me. Whereas in Hero of Age, it's like so well paced, even though like things are happening really fast. Like it's just
it's all like led up to that too. So it's like when
exactly.
it does come to a head, it fits, it works, it makes sense.
Yeah, and it wraps up everything so well. Like there's still loose threads like for
which
like
we'll
future eras. Yeah, but yeah.
Throw out some raffles at you guys when we're done discussing. We'll do the unanswered questions. I know Max has a list. And
so
I'll see what I can answer.
Unpopular opinion because I feel like it was a 4-star until the last 100 pages. And I feel like the first half dragged, and I am not a Spook fan. Sorry, Spence, I love you.
I would die.
He's like, about.
Oh, like
I'm offended.
Goku's so mean. I love
He's
Spook
just
so
so
much.
cute.
I get what he was supposed to do. It didn't add anything. I feel like I wanted it to be a little bit shorter.
Really, I wanted it to be longer because like I was so disappointed by how like quickly he burned up. Like he was like halfway through the book, he's like already like this. I mean, yeah, he couldn't do anything because he had already been roasted, literally.
Yeah.
So like I was so sad that he didn't like get to like all the scenes at the end.
Yeah. The amount of times on reread when I get to a moment when I'm like, oh right, this character just never sees this character again after this point, and I'm just like reading, nothing sad is happening, but I'm sad because I'm like, they never see each other again.
Yes.
That's the thing that sucks on rereads. Yeah. But
Tensoon caring about Vin and then never seeing her again. That
one hurts me the
That
most.
hurt.
That one hurts me the most. Like every time I think about the fact that Tensoon and Vin never got to see each other again.
And
Because
also
they were trying to find each other too in the book. So it's just
every time Vin and Ellen kiss, and that could possibly be the last time they ever kiss. That was sad.
That hurt.
When I hit the moment when I knew it was the last time they saw each other, because I wasn't sure when it happened, and when I got to it, I was like, okay, this is it. This is it. I got braced myself. This is it. It's okay. She God whispers to him a couple of times.
Sometimes you God whisper
Bro.
to people. It's fine.
Fine.
Did Tensoon die? I can't even remember now.
Raffo.
Raffo
Raffo about what happened to the Khandra just at the end, because there's no conclusion for the Khandra.
Because I know they didn't all
blob.
kill himself. They didn't all kill himself.
No.
Raffo.
Okay.
Oh my goodness, I'm like
I was gonna
panicking
say,
because
I'll be really sad if they're not in the further eras.
I will
I
say
was
Rafa,
thinking-
but you'll be happy.
Yes,
Good.
you'll. They're not just an era 1 situation. You will see what has occurred with them in the future.
I'm like panicking a little bit because I already started Era 2. So
Yeah.
You
I
be
think
quiet in the
I don't actually remember when things happen in era 2. That's why I'm like, you need to react to things so I know when you get to things. Because I was asking Casey, I was like, does this thing happen in book 1 or book 2? She's like, it's like in the first 4 chapters. And I was like,
I'm the same way though. I'm like, what happened? Like the 1 and 2, like they smushed together for me because I read them back to
PowerPoint
back.
isn't until the second one. The
Okay.
second one we get the PowerPoint presentation. So
yes.
Mm.
Why am I
that
getting
should
phone
answer
calls?
some questions.
Mm-hmm.
So I was looking at I'm literally reading the Wikipedia summary right now because I did not review this at all. And like I totally forgot about the scene where I think they're just like fighting and then all of a sudden like the ash mouse like start like like blowing up. I was like,
The world is on fire. Literally.
it makes me think of
Literally.
Pompeii. It's so funny.
Yeah, the world
Yes.
is ending. We were talking about, we're not sure because I couldn't find the answer, but we think the entire span of this book takes place in about like 3 months.
Yeah, it feels like more time's passing, but because you're following like the 3 different perspectives. You're following like Vin and Ellen and Tensoon and Spook, but all of those stories are happening simultaneously. And I'm pretty sure from beginning to end, this book is like a span of 3 months. Like it reads so quickly to me. Like there are slower parts where it's like not as much like intense stuff is happening, but the progression of time passing in this book is like so fast. And the like last 40 pages happens in 5 minutes, so it's like
I feel like 75% of that time happens in the first like 10% of the book, though. The very first bit of the book is so long because it talks about Tensoon and things happening to Tensoon like over the span of months, where
Well, I
he's
think-
being held captive.
Yeah. Like there's references to like also like with Spook being in that city is like he's been there for a while when like we meet up with him. So like there's referencing time passing, but as far as what the time we see on page passing, it's like not more than like 3 months, I don't think.
Yeah, because I think Tensoon mentions like being in that hole for like so long, but it's like there's a year between the books.
Yeah.
Oh
It's all
yeah.
that off-screen stuff. Same with
Mhm.
Spook as well. He had loads of off-screen.
Every single Mistborn book is about book 1 and 2 are about a year in length in world, and then there's a year gap between each book. But book 3 is not a year-long story. It's like a couple months at best.
The world ends fast.
The world ends fast.
What else do we want to talk about?
I'm like looking at the summary still.
They really don't have a lot of time before the world ends. It's
They
true.
really don't.
Oh yeah, Vin also spun the world around, so she.
I got one. Oh,
Oh yeah.
That does happen. What you bringing up? Where we going?
No, I was gonna say I was really okay. This is one of the few things, like little like nitpicks, like that I didn't like about the Hero of Ages. Is one like how Breeze and Alrian keep popping up, but they don't do anything. They don't do anything. I was expecting like Alrian to do so much more in this book, but every time she's like on page, she's just like there supporting Breeze, and I wanted her to do a little bit more. But at the same time, and I said this in my review, like because like this isn't just like for Breeze and Alrian, it's like for Ham and like all the others. Like they come in and they just like leave, but like they don't like even if they did have more developed stories, it's not gonna contribute to like the whole
overall,
ending.
yeah.
So
Yeah. Like the book would have just been so much longer if he was putting in like more like meat for each individual like crew member's story when it's not impactful to the overall plot of how the world ends. So like yeah, I understand wanting more of those characters just because you like those characters, but like yeah, the main stories you have to follow here are Sazed and Vin and Ellen and Tensu because
I think the only chance she only has one chance to do something, and it's when like she riots the crowd to like cause a riot.
Yeah,
I think that's the only time.
And he saves that kid. Yeah.
I will say to this, Sela, I think they're talking about this at the beginning when they're talking about like the crops and everything, but that's because they're basing it off of the sunlight. They don't take into effect that the ash is going to be the big problem.
Yeah, because it says that in the epigraphs. They were constantly concerned about the mist in the daytime and how much sunlight was coming through for the plants. Yeah. And Sazed even in the epigraph says that like that should not have been the thing they worried about because they could have survived more with plants. That was like there was more stuff coming through. They just didn't understand anything. That their main problem was the ash because the ash just kept coming.
Yeah, because the ash choked.
And then there was lava everywhere.
Also the lava. I'm sure the lava was also a big problem.
Yeah.
I
think lava's probably a problem.
Lava's a problem.
It's a really big game of the floor is lava.
Literally.
They're just under the floor.
Yeah.
They are the lava.
They are the lava.
You can't beat it, join it, you know?
Go for it.
What else any other like nitpicks anybody want to bring up, like things they didn't like?
No, but I have a random theory.
Oh, okay. Theory.
In relation to I mentioned this in my my wrap up that I did recently because the flower that what's her name? Mare? Was that
Mare?
The flower drawing that she's had. I mean, I haven't read Elantris, but it made me think of the flower in was the Eggly that or whatever it was called that was in Warbreaker.
Flower, yes, Eggly.
Yeah, and like kind of this. I feel like because we don't have an ending to Warbreaker yet, but it's very much about like establishing who is a god and what makes a god, and we have this like we don't yet know the limits of the breaths and the powers and anything. I don't know if it's related, but I feel like Warbreaker. If this was like a huge timeline, Warbreaker might be setting up the final empire or like way in the past. Does that make any sense?
I see where you're going
with
it.
No, I get that.
I see where you're going with
Mare's religion sounded similar.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm not going to confirm or deny anything.
I think it's supposed to sound similar because Mistborn is written after Warbreaker.
Mm-hmm. It was written after.
But I don't think
No, actually, Casey, Warbreaker was written after Mistborn.
Oh yeah, Warbreaker. But I think whatever. I have a fever. Okay, I'm allowed to.
Or at least it was published after Mistborn. I don't actually know.
I think one of them was written in response to the other, right? So I think
because they wanted a colorful story because Elantris and Mistborn were so dark. That's why he worked.
I think it's like taken from that, but I don't think there's like an in-world.
So is the Cosmere? I guess my question is the Cosmere in the same universe or are these multiverses?
No, it's the same universe.
Same universe. Same universe. Same universe.
Could be.
Same universe.
I had one like little nitpick.
Okay.
But like getting towards the end of the book when it was because I really like the way Sanderson writes fight scenes because he doesn't make them seem like too overcrowded and they're quite easy to follow. But there was one thing that like every time he did it, I was like, where every time Vin burned a metal to do something, he's like, Vin burned X, Vin burned X, Vin burned X, Vin burned X. And like, but he says it at the start of like 12 sentences on the same page. Like Vin burned X, then did this. Vin burned this, then did this. But like, it's like you don't need to say it every single time. By the end of the book, I was like,
yeah, like that's how the magic works. But like at this point, you could just say she did this, and you could like
Yeah,
know
No,
what she's burning.
we know what's happening.
Yeah,
now. It's
I
like-
understand that.
Right.
Like, I didn't really notice it that much. Like, it didn't bother me enough for me to notice on reread. But I
Yeah.
get why that because it's like you don't need to enforce that as much because we know what the different metals do. So you can just say she did the thing instead of saying she burned this to do the thing.
Yeah, I understand doing it at like the beginning of a book in case someone like
Just
there's
kind
like
of
a gap in
refreshing,
their
but,
reading.
like-
But like by the end of the book, like you can drop it. It's fine. We know what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And she's probably burning all of her medals the whole fight anyway.
Most stressful piece of jewelry ever. You're telling me. You're telling me.
True. It is the most
Telling
stressful piece of
me.
jewelry.
My favorite thing is
that
people
earring.
reading Final Empire and being like, "That's important, but I don't know why."
But I don't know why.
Friends and Max did that. They were like, "I know this is important, but I don't know why, but I know it's important." So you caught on to that much.
It's
My
referenced constantly.
My favorite thing in Final Empire is that when she first puts the earring in, it's like whatever she goes into like her little cubbyhole to get her stuff because she wants to run away from Camen's lair. She puts her earring in. The next page, literally like not even 2 paragraphs later, she hears Reen whispering to her. She's like, "Oh, Reen seems to whisper in her mind." It's like immediately after it. I'm just like, it's right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's okay. My first read of this, like, I'm like, how did I miss all of this? Like, rereading it, I'm like, how did I miss absolutely all of this? Like, I
Right.
missed so much on my first read.
Yeah.
I
was
was
a child when I read this for the first time. I had no idea.
I had no clue.
No way.
No idea what was going on.
Same.
Right.
I just picked it up because somebody said it was really good, and I'm like, okay, like, sure.
We read Stormlight first, so we were like, let's go.
Yeah,
Okay.
we took off the deep end and then like walked back onto the land. It's like, how did this happen? How did
What's going on?
Yes. Yeah, there's a reason why you need to read other things before Stormlight, and you'll understand when you get to Stormlight
Yeah.
because it's a whole different situation.
Right. Well, I read, what was it? I read Mistborn Era 1 and then books 1 and 2 and Era 2, like, in succession. Like,
Right.
Only
Yes.
book 1 was out. No, we had to wait for book 1 too. Era 2 has been slow coming.
yeah.
Eric has been- It's almost over.
It's so close.
That's
Anyway.
not this live show. We'll
not.
get there. We'll get there. We'll get there one day.
We're getting there.
So I remember exactly how I was sitting. I was sitting in a very uncomfortable position when I read chapter 72, which is when Vin breaks all of her bones.
March
Oh
breaks
my
all of
goodness,
those.
my whole
March
body
breaks all
hurt
of
from
his
that.
bones.
Oh
Yeah,
my god.
isn't that when we first got on the call with you to watch you finish? Was that the start?
No, so I actually like finished that chapter, and when I like told you in the Discord, you were like, "You stop right there."
I was like, that's the beginning of the Sanderlynch. Like, you're reading that scene and you're like, Vin's about to die. What the fuck's happening? Like,
Yeah.
It vanishes. You're like, okay.
yeah.
But yeah,
it's
just like
this is-
tying it back to the earring, like when Marsh like has that moment of sanity and just like rips Vin's earring.
Marsh's like whole
Oh my
viewpoints in this book
I
are
love him
so
so
like they're
much.
so painful and so well done because like you get those moments when it's like it's him thinking about how he's trying to resist and stuff, and it just immediately bleeds into ruin. And he's like, "Oh, but I love the murder and the destruction and the ash. It's so beautiful." And then like it's back to him, but it's like it's just so like nicely done that it's like you can see how fucking tangled up he is in Ruin's influence and
Well,
his
'cause he has
control.
like he has the most spikes.
He's
of
got
anyone
like
at
20
that point.
fucking
He's got
spikes.
like
Yeah, he's got
20
so
spikes.
many
So
spikes.
many. He's all spiked up and ready to go.
I cry every day about Marsh.
See,
I
In
love
that first line.
guys, did you know that Marsh struggled to kill himself?
It's such a line.
It hurts.
Oh,
It hurts.
I'm
It
so
hurts.
glad Steph's reaction is immortalized forever on a live reading sprints video.
Poor Marsh. I love Marsh.
I love Marsh.
He
so
is
much.
the ultimate.
he
The-
deserved better.
The line that like in the end Marsh had mattered, and like every time I read that line, it literally breaks my soul apart. It hurts
Right.
so much. I'm like, you did matter, buddy. You did it.
You mattered.
You did that one thing.
You did that one. If he hadn't done that one thing, a lot of other things wouldn't happen. So
Right.
That scene where he like opens the door and like walks in the room and Vin sees him and then like sees Kelsier in him, I'm always like,
she's like,
I gotta take a breath.
not Kelsey's brother anymore.
And like put the book down for a minute and like not cry.
Oh, yes.
So I was watching Bree's reading vlog for Hero of Ages yesterday, and I gotta say I'm totally with Bree on like caring about preservation so much it doesn't
Yeah.
make
It's
sense.
so irrational.
I don't know why we do.
It's so
Yeah.
irrational. Like I am so obsessed with preservation. I can't
I like-
explain it. I
I
can
like-
cry just thinking about him.
I got so emotional when like that epigraph came, where like preservation's a person. Like he mattered. He wasn't just like some abstract thing.
Yes, and the more
Right.
like you learn about him and like the efforts like he went into to like saving humanity and like doing all this stuff and like imprisoning like his struggle till the end, like he just never stopped fighting for people.
Exactly.
And that like epigraph where Sazed is like, you know, he had so much faith in his creations, and it was like, I wonder what preservation felt when they continued to fail him over and over again. And I was like, ow,
Oh,
it hurts. I love Prezi. Okay,
Yes, Matt.
I love
You
Prezi.
look like you're gonna explode.
I know what Matt's
Why-
gonna go on about now.
Why the fuck do they have bodies?
Okay, so I don't know if I should explain this or not. Let me think.
And Casey, I remember you said that there was a paragraph to explain why did Sazed know about preservation's body?
Hang on, I got you there. so
They got really excited.
hang on, I was literally looking for where this tab was last night because I knew you were going to ask this. Because I watched
I've
your
just
video.
called up my big question list.
I literally watched your video and I made note of what questions you had in your video so I could be prepared.
Someone's looking out for me.
Which tab? It was like one of the first ones I tabbed. That was this tab. Not that one. Was it the first one I tabbed? Okay, so literally the epigraph on chapter 2. Obviously, all the epigraphs take place after Sazed is holding the power. And he literally says, holding the power did strange things to my mind. In just a few moments, I became familiar with the power itself, with its history, and with the ways it might be used. So that is, in my opinion, says that like he sees that everything related to the power that has been done with it before, including who held it before. So I assume that that's how he knew that that's what took place. He's very omniscient now. So, but the fact that it says that he's familiar with the history of the power.
Well, you said with the history and with what? What was the last?
Why did I put down the bottom of the step? Hang on, that's the first thing. He said, with the power, I became familiar with the power itself, with its history, and with the ways it might be used.
If that doesn't satisfy you enough, I will say I think there's another explanation, but I'm a Rapho.
Yeah, there is more explanation we can raffle right now. I'll say you get more information on that later. And as far as the bodies thing, is that ever directly explained in text?
I don't think it's ever directly explained.
I don't know if I want to.
Is it a case of it hasn't been explained yet, but we're still hopeful?
Oh no, I mean, I know what that is, but I don't know.
Is that like Word of Brandon stuff?
No, yeah, it's.
Considering how everything has been so delicately laid out, it would be really weird if we get to the end of like Mistborn Era 3 and that hasn't been explained. It has to be coming.
Right.
And you might. I know. See, the thing is, I know Max doesn't want like overall like any spoilers to anything. And this, well, I figure I consider it information. It is technically kind of could spoil things in other Cosmere books that are going to relate. So I feel like maybe I shouldn't explain it yet.
I'm going to point out things that are said in text about how they say that the powers don't really have a consciousness, like they can't really control themselves. And then we see other people holding the powers. We see Sazed and Vin holding the powers. So that would
what happened when Vin died?
Exactly, when Vin died, her body fell.
Power, and then when she died, her body came back. So that can you can kind of connect those dots yourself.
I don't know. I just don't know if it's ever explained.
I like how Kate's trying to get you to connect it up. I feel like there's more explanation on the.
Casey's giving me Bill Nye the Science Guy vibes right now.
I feel like
Adams.
I feel like there is more explanation on the V word. I'll say the V word, Casey. You know what I'm talking about? Mm-hmm. I feel like we do get more explanation on that later down the line in the Cosmere in general. Not like a ton, but like it's there. So
I feel like there's a lot of it.
I feel like I'm not gonna go into details about that as of yet. But when we get farther down the line, if you still have questions about that specific thing, once we get to a point where I feel like it's been on page enough that I can explain it, I will. So we're gonna.
I'm fully patient. I will be temporarily satisfied by a Raffo. That's all I need. That's all I need is that like the information is coming.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The information is coming.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry, the admin powers thing made me laugh.
That's really great. Check log and user history. That's exactly how I read that. Yeah, basically the user history.
Yeah, you get the whole user history and all the change logs.
So I do just want to say there was a specific epigraph in here, and a specific word was used in that epigraph And it's an important word, and I don't know if I should point it out to you guys, but I want you to remember that word. And I think actually Spence picked up on the word. I don't know if anybody else picked up on the word. No, not
Is it
that
the
word.
A
Actually,
word?
I couldn't
word.
Oh, I saw the A word. Yeah.
Should I read it to everybody so you just know the word? Let me find it. Hang on. It's
The A
tabs.
word.
Bro, all words.
Katrina's just gonna start throwing out A word.
I'll read this epigraph to you just so you can just hold this in your brain. It's an important word. That's all we're gonna say. I mean, it's on page here, so it's not. I'm not spoiling nothing. Okay, so the full epigraph is: even now, I can barely grasp the scope of all of this. The events surrounding the end of the world seem even larger than the final empire and the people within it. I sense shards of something from long ago, a fractured presence, something spanning the void. I have delved and searched and have only been able to come up with a single name, Adonalsium. Who or what it was, I do not yet know. Just remember that word. It's important.
Yeah, you pointed that out, I think.
You did. I know. You did. You were like, I think this is a word.
Well,
it is a word.
capitalized, right, in the sentence.
Anytime there's a weird word that's capitalized, pay attention to it. No, I'm serious. Certain words get capitalized. Apple.
Yes, it's Apple. You know. Also, hi, Eli.
Apple on Alzium. I'm so sorry.
I knew that one was important because it's the name of the bot in our chat.
Yes, I should name the bot that in the chat. So I thought that maybe somebody would recognize that from there. It's an important Cosmere word.
I can't tell you how long it took Bree and I to be able to pronounce it.
I don't know. Like, I can say it now. I don't know why it was so hard for us to say the word.
It took months.
We would read that word and be like, we couldn't get past the D. We're like, I don't know.
I think it was actually misspelled in my edition.
Really?
Yeah.
Possible.
I think it didn't have the L in it. I think in my edition it said Adonasium.
Oh, weird.
Yeah,
so I was like, is that the thing?
That's the same thing.
That's a bad word to misspell. Okay.
That's a real bad word to misspell.
Good job, editors.
Anytime I can't find the definition of a word in the Cosmere, I just assume it's important and just put it down.
Yeah. Just keep it in your memory banks, so when it comes up again, you'll be like, "Oh, that's a word." I'm not going to tell you that you're going to get any information about that word, but you will see the word again.
It's a word that exists.
Oh,
Jesse,
is it?
Yeah.
Is the next time we see that word that one time?
That one time.
I think so.
Okay. Don't worry about it.
Jesse wants to talk about interested in people's opinions on Ruin. Ruin makes
I was
sense
about to get
from
to
villain.
Ruin. Yeah, that was my next subject topic once we got past this situation.
And it was misspelled in the first edition.
Oh,
okay.
You like coming in with the facts.
Oh,
that is such a big word to misspell. Come on,
right?
It really is.
It's not even a real word.
But I feel like it'd be an easy one to misspell.
Ruin. We talked about our irrational love of preservation. How does everybody feel about Ruin?
Just so like the way mixed feelings.
So like the way you Ruin is the same way I kind of view preservation, only I view preservation a little bit better. I mean, I like preservation more. I feel like they're just doing what they gotta do. Like they're not really inherently evil or good. They're just Ruin and preservation. I don't know. So
well, yeah, like he's just doing what his power is.
Yeah, he's just doing what he does.
He's just ruin. He's just ruining.
He is.
He's ruining.
He's ruining shit. Yeah.
Like, look, you can't play with the Legos unless you destroy what you built first. You have a limited supply of Legos.
I have a limited supply of Legos.
That's Ruin's whole perspective. Yeah. Understand Ruin to the core. It's all about the Legos.
Ruin just wants to play with Legos.
Me
too.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So you guys know how much I like latch on to side characters. And like I was really disappointed by Beldra. I did not like Beldra at all.
She was lame.
Yeah.
Nobody really likes her. I'm not gonna lie to you. That's like a popular opinion.
I don't even remember who that is. That's probably how much I didn't care about.
It's Spook's new girlfriend.
Yeah.
Oh, see,
yeah, I'm like, get out of here. Spook doesn't. You don't deserve Spook.
Spook deserves so much better.
Until Spook had a spike in him, everything Spook just kind of went like this. I'm sorry.
It's so spike.
It's
with the
Spook's girlfriend. And
with the ruin power.
Yes.
So when Vin took the preservation power, right, then she was doing the things with the power. it wasn't the power that was in the driver's seat. So surely with Ruin, it was not Ruin's will, it was the will of the person that took Ruin up.
Yes and no and yes. Correct, but there's more to that I'm not going to get into.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're on the right path. But
yes,
there's
more
more
complicated.
There's more complicated than that, and I can't get into it right now. But you're on the right track. I'll say that much.
I love how the only thing it described about the preservation body was black hair, big nose. That was all you got.
Yeah.
Listen, I love Prezi so much. I don't know. I really don't know why. Like, I do not understand why I'm so rationally attached to a character that's barely alive and doesn't literally speak words or anything.
Right.
He waves around.
He's like, oh, I'm a ghost. Wee. Go that way. I just love you. Ugh.
I do love the end scene where he's like, can we beat him? And he's like,
God, that moment when he's like, he hesitates and he's like, maybe. Yeah.
That's like Doctor Strange, where he's like,
yes, literally. It gives me chills though, that moment when Ellen's just like, I have no idea what the fuck you're trying to tell me. But like Ellen was just so close to giving up in the act. Like he was just ready to fucking just stay there and bury himself. And he's like, can we beat it? And it's like,
and he's like, that's enough.
And he's like, I'll take it, let's go.
Oh, you're saying there's a chance.
That would get me psyched as well.
Yeah, I mean, like, at the smallest hope, I'm here for it. I love everything about that moment. Like,
end of the world.
When preservation appears to Ellen at that moment, it's like one of my favorite scenes in the whole book. I don't know why, especially on reread. Like I just appreciate it so much because I know what the fuck's happening. I know what he's trying to tell Ellen in that scene. He's like pointing at the metal vials when he's asking about the mist, and he's like, "I'm trying to help, bro. I gave you an army. Figure it out.
Eat that bitch." That's what he's saying.
He said, "Eat it."
Okay, at this point, like we've had like a few live shows, but at this point, I'm a little bit frustrated by how much like everything's just like that's gonna get answered in the future. I'm like,
Right?
I already finished Era 1.
See, the thing is, I could absolutely explain some of these things farther. Like I will tell you right now, before we got more information later on in Mistborn stuff, there were like answers that Brandon gave about questions people had in Era 1. And there's things that I knew before I actually read the explanations that came later. And I know that Max doesn't want spoilers, so since those explanations do come later, I would rather just let those things happen naturally. But like there are things I could absolutely just tell you what's happening. But since I know you're gonna read it and it's gonna let it come naturally in that organic way, I'm gonna let it go that way.
Yeah, I appreciate you filtering it for me.
Yeah, like I love the cat. That's just chilling with Steph right now. I see Tail.
She's trying to get me to go hang out with her, but
You're supposed to hang out with a Koloss. It happens. Me too.
Right?
Yeah.
Yes.
she is my horse.
She's a good horse.
Good horsey.
I'm proud of her.
And also I will just say, why am I getting another phone call? People leave me alone. I'm busy. I will just say though, when you do get like fully caught up with all of the Mistborn stuff, there will still be things that you might have questions about. Not like the main things that you have questions about, but like the deep dive people who like Max might pick apart some things that were not answered. Like people who really look into it, like you might find some things that are still not answered, and Brandon will be like, it's still a wrap, and we're like, we're almost done with Era 2, buddy. What the hell?
What do you mean?
Exactly. So that frustration might continue on a deeper level, like for some deeper questions, but a lot of the like main things you're wondering about now, you will get explained. And if you still have questions, want more explanation, I can provide those at that time.
Yeah, that's why we need a live show like in January, like after this year.
That's my plan. Is after we
stuff.
do the Rhythm of War live show, which also might end up being like in January because like end of the year is like Christmas and New Year's, and people are probably gonna have a lot of stuff going on. So we might have to push that to January. We'll have to figure that. We'll figure that when we get closer to the end of the year, what everybody's schedules are. But I plan on us doing like the Rhythm of War live show, and then after that, like a full Cosmere Crab Along wrap up party where we just do full Cosmere spoiler chat, just fun, chill time where we talk about everything and we can theorize about shit since we're all gonna be on the same page. It'll be great.
Yay!
So we're gonna have a wrap up party like we had the party to kick it off. We'll have the close off party as well. After.
Yeah, I will say also
we can't do that during the Row live show because Row is gonna be like a 4-hour live show. Let me tell you.
I'm excited.
Let me
it's
tell
gonna be
you.
time.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. We'll get there December.
I know,
Jesse, you haven't read Rhythm of War yet, right?
No, I haven't read Oathbringer either.
Yeah.
So that'll be my. Well, now we're reading Bands of Morning first. I have not read Bands of Morning.
Yeah, you
I
should.
love
You
Bands of Morning.
want to read Bands of Morning before you get there.
Yeah, that will be my first, like, as a first timer, like, not reread.
Oh, I'm so
So-
excited.
Bands of Morning is so good.
It's
It's also thick. It is a chunky.
It is
boy.
thicker than the other two.
it's still short, like comparatively, but it's a thicker boy.
Right.
Thicker boy.
Yeah, it's still not like Era 1 thick, but it's like thicker
No.
than Era 2.
It's not Hero One thing.
It's not.
Listen, we have levels of thickness.
Right.
We do.
We have Era 1. We have, like, it's a weapon that I could use to protect myself, like a hardback Stormlight Archives book.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, there's even levels in Stormlight. There's like, Way of Kings, but then there's like Oathbringer.
Yeah.
Oathbringer's a brick. Big yellow brick.
Speaking of leveling up, okay, so the whole, since you guys are Bree and Casey, you guys are a couple cosplay right now. The whole
Hey.
the ballroom trope thing is usually not my jam. So in Final Empire, I was like, I don't really like that, but it's the way it's done is fine. But the glow up of them going back, oh my gosh, I love that so much. Just seeing the amount of growth.
It's so good. It's
When they
so
go to
good.
dance and he pulls a
When
book
Ellen
out,
pulls out
I
that
lose
book,
my
yeah.
mind.
It's
Every
my
time.
favorite thing ever. And she gets so mad and she's like, this is almost romantic if it didn't make your wife want to kill you. It's like, it's just so beautiful. I love it.
Ooh, I
so
want to
much.
point out how both Vin and Ellen cared so much about their outfits in this book. It's so funny.
When
Like in
Vin
the
has
middle
that
of battle,
moment,
Yes.
she's
the
like,
middle of
"I
battle,
want a dress."
Right?
exactly.
She like
And
goes
Ellen's like
pale.
in the middle of battle, like, okay, I'm gonna go change because like we need to keep the white like
I gotta
thing
get
going on.
my white attire. I gotta keep
Right.
the appearances. Same. It literally made me cry with that scene.
Mm.
Oh, that's a
Yes.
good question, actually. When did everyone start crying in this book? If you did,
I don't count because I cry over everything.
Didn't
So
cry. It just stared at the ceiling for a while.
when did you get most emotional? We'll say because not everybody cries when they read.
mine
but
was a
when did you
weird
get
point.
The epilogue.
Right?
The first line of the prologue, I just had to put down the book.
March?
Right? Like, are we talking about like this time, like my reread, or like the
I'm
first
saying
time?
reread. Yeah, this time.
Because on
This-
reread, like it's different. It's like the whole book. It's like
different. There's so many
it
things that
hits
aren't even
so
sad in the moment
different.
that make me so emotional because I know everything that happens.
Yeah.
Especially in like the first book, I was tearing up over like the most inconsequential stuff in book one on the series because I was like, oh god, like I know what happens later, and I'm so young
Right.
about this. But yeah,
But the
cried over
second
everything.
one, like it took me close, or like the first time I read it, it took me closer to like the actual events of the ending.
Yeah,
Because I kept thinking, I'm like, okay, well, this is going to be fixed. It's fine. Things are going to be fixed. It's going to be fine. And then it wasn't. It's not fine. It's not fine at all.
sometimes the world ends. It's okay.
Sometimes the world ends.
Sometimes.
Spook has a fake name. Just a fake
Can anyone
name.
pronounce? I could not pronounce what his
Mistborn?
legit
His real
name
name
is
is?
supposed to be.
Lestiborns is how I
Yep,
say it.
can't. That's
I-
I'm not
I-
Like
trying.
I was born. Oh no.
I want you guys to know that I was listening to it on like the graphic audio at one point, and I don't know how they said. I don't know how it's supposed to be said. I say Lestiborns, but however
That's what I would
say it, and the graphic audio was so fucking weird. I had to stop and replay it 5 times, and I still couldn't comprehend how they got there. It was a wild time. But yeah,
When
it's
Spook's
Lestiborns.
name was explained, that got me. That wrecked me. Like last thing I was born.
I'm glad that you guys all remember that because that was one of the trivia questions. So you guys got one ready.
I think the only bit in the whole trilogy that emotionally had me shook was when Sazed found Tindwell's body.
Mm,
That was that for me was the saddest bit in the whole trilogy.
that's a
That
rough
messed
one.
me up.
That was.
Yeah, one of my really emo ones in this reread was actually when he hears Tensoon call him the announcer, and he's like freaking out. That moment when he just like he has that spark of hope reignite inside of him, and he's like, "Oh my god, the terrorist religion is still a thing." And I can like that moment when he's like,
Yes.
and then Breeze is like, "What does this mean?" And he's like, "It means hope." And I'm like, "Oh my god!"
Yes.
I got chills
Like it's
this
not
time.
even that emotional, but it hit me so hard on this
See,
reread.
that
Just-
relates to my part where I actually cried this time around, when he sits down with the first generation this time and they like send the other generation out, I just started crying. I don't know what it was, but like they're sitting down to like compare stuff and I was like, I can't do this anymore.
I know, right? And it's like the world is literally ending outside. It's literally ending like right outside. And they're having this meeting and it's just so good.
My favorite meeting that's ever happened. And I hate meetings.
So one thing I remember now, one thing that I kind of didn't like, but at the same time was okay with about this book, was how many times I thought that Spook or Sazed was already dead, and then the next chapter is like, oh, like they're still alive. I was like screaming, and then like the next chapter, oh, okay, they're fine, but like you didn't need to hurt me there.
They were dead.
Oh, I think like at least 4, like collectively.
Okay. I understand. I get it with Spook because a lot of Spook's chapters would end like when he's in the middle of something, and it's like we'll come back to that in a minute, I guess. But I don't remember that many with Saze.
I think there's I think there's at least one with Saze, like in the same chapter that Ellen dies, because like there's like a few paragraphs before that something happens to Saze. I don't remember what, but like I genuinely thought that he was dead. So. But like
right before that, when he's like holding the door in the trust and like trying to keep the Condra out, the Condra who didn't kill themselves. Yeah, because that scene I think cuts off like when he's like trying to fight them and it cuts off to something else. I feel you. And you're like right at the end there. It's all coming down.
Yeah, everyone's gonna die.
Yeah. Yep.
But the one that made me really cry was the epilogue, like when what's his face? Spook finds Vin and Ellen.
What's his face? Sorry, go ahead.
Well, when he finds Vin and Ellen, like that was just like one level of cry. And then when he finds the stack of books that says that leaves, that was another level of cry for me.
Yeah, let me get that note.
I think the main reason that I latched on so much to that scene was how similar it was to the ending of Death Cure, which is like one of my favorite series endings. It's like the Maze Runner series. And it's like, it hurt me so much that like when I read the epilogue, like all the trauma just like came back to me from that series. It was a time.
I'm trying to remember how that ended. I read that so long ago. I remember liking it, but I don't remember how it ended.
I didn't read past the first book.
I remember liking book 1 and thinking the other books were really bad.
I don't know. I read the first book and just realized that they could solve all their problems by listening to women, and then just didn't have faith in the theories.
Oh, Katrina, I love you.
Love it.
I mean, that's fair.
That is fair.
I think one of my most emotional moments at the end is in Say's note when he's talking about, like his line is like, of all of those who held the power, she was the most worthy. And I just like break at that line. I don't know why. It just hurts me so much. It hurts me so much.
It's a hell of a line.
It's a hell of a line, Casey. I mean over everything though, so like I don't really care.
I also love that because like one of Spook's like biggest things is like how much he doubts himself, and I love how at the very end like says like it was because of you that like because of like how you warned like these people that like Spook like mattered like at the end. So
yeah, it was like your message that really made it all possible.
Exactly. There's so many different like factors in that last like 30 pages that it's like if this person hadn't done this and this person hadn't done this, like none of it would have come together. Like all of them mattered so much in that ending, like what Spook did, what Marsh did, what Tensoon, like getting Says there to get that information so that he could put it together right at the moment when he needed to. Like
the armies being there.
He was just gonna sit there and let the world burn while the power was floating in front of him like, I don't know what to do. Jesus Christ. I love him so much.
He doesn't
also, Ellen's monologue, I need to listen to that every day because like I need the motivation.
The one where he's like, we're all gonna die, but you know, we're gonna give those people, you know, a little more time, and it's just so good. It's so good. And like that moment when he's like, we've won, Marsh, we've won. He's like, why do you think we were fighting? We didn't think we'd win this. We were eating your body, buddy. Like, we ate your whole body. Oh.
Sometimes you digest a god body.
Yeah, burn that shit up. Sorry. Speaking of which, how do people feel about like all the different plot twists in this? Like the ADM being like held in the trust and like paid to the Condra to be protected this whole time, and then it being Ruin's body.
That was the one twist that really caught me like out of the left field, the fact that because I've been wondering about the contract specifically for the whole trilogy, and then was like they're paid in atium. I was like, what?
Yes. It's so fun, and like it all makes so much sense. I love it. And that like moment when like you realize that's what Ruin's looking for, it's like, why is he looking? Why does this matter?
I love the plot, how like the 16 thing was resolved at the end. I was like, why is there a number here? Like I need answers, because this is a number. Like you can't just like throw around numbers like that and
you
not
sure
have like.
You sure can't.
And I was so happy how that wrapped up well.
Yes.
Do we get an answer as to why the Adium was growing specifically in that site? Like what the significance of that location was?
I don't remember.
I don't remember specifically if that's
a really good question.
In text. Let me.
You were to Brandon that.
Well, you discuss among yourselves.
I will say I don't know what she was talking about in this comment.
Discuss among
I
yourselves.
agree.
I don't know why she's crying, but I agree.
I am also crying.
Let me see if I can figure this out. I feel like there is an answer for that. I just don't know. Wow, I like seeing when I go to the Word of Brandon page and it shows me all of my most recent searches. Just made me laugh. I've been busy lately. Okay, what was I searching for?
I really like the idea of holy numbers and incorporating that into the books, because we got the Knight's Duology, we have a Trinity of Magic. 16 is just 4 times 4 seasons in the year. It just, I just need one thing that's a 7, and then I'll be happy.
Exactly.
This was not.
I'll see what I can do with the 7. I don't know if there is one, but probably. It's a good number.
Dude, there's so many metal.
Actually, that's not what I need to search for.
For like the days of the week. I don't know. There's going to be the same stupid numbers come up in so many different religions and cultures. It's going to happen.
Yeah, that's true.
Like the first thing I looked up was a Raffo. Thanks, Anderson. A Raffo from 2012, you bastard. Hang on, don't worry about it.
Okay, question. Like, how would you guys rank the books in the trilogy?
On like what kind of scale? Just like which we liked the most, or which is the best, or?
Yeah, just like what you like the most.
1, 3, 2.
I might be the same. It might be the same.
Yeah.
Like I feel like
I love that setup so much.
I feel like I have so much more fun in Hero of Ages just because it's all happening. But I feel like retroactively I like Final Empire more because just like the way it's all set up and just it's so good.
The whole crew together, like
it's so good. I think I would agree.
I just don't like sad endings, and the second book was very sad.
There was a lot of death. They unleashed a god on the world and evil force. It's fine. It's a good time.
I finished the second book, and my spouse asked how it was, and I was like, they unleashed a great and terrible evil. And then he said, oh, it's the second book. And I went, yeah.
Okay, wait, Steph, what was your actual question about the adium?
Oh, the geodes and the mining site where they were getting the adium from. What is the significance of why it only grows there?
Okay, I don't think there's actual significance of it being that, like, a geographical location, but there's more information about that, which I don't think I can explain right now because it gets into some stuff. But like every time I answer a question, I'm like, I can't actually answer this question.
Right.
Like, is it?
Yeah. Okay. See, Josh just came into the all spoiler chat in the Discord. Okay, he gets what I'm going for here.
Once Kelsier destroyed all of the adium that was left, then they weren't able to produce anymore. So was that like a Ruin's corpse from like, I don't know, something that happened a long time ago? Like, was this a remnant of something?
You're on the right path. Is all I can say. There's more of an explanation to it, but I can't give that to you right now. But you will get that later.
Okay.
Yeah. There is like a deeper explanation of that.
Yeah, but also like the metal is power.
Yeah.
So like that's why like it's coalescing into these little nuggets of nonsense.
Yeah. But yeah, there's more explanation for like what's going on there. And it's not directly stated in this book, so I'm not gonna go with it.
Was it like a trench, or did they refer to it as like some sort of site of a river or something?
Where
No?
the pits of Hassan?
That whole like underground section
They're
where
like-
we were going.
They're like cracks. in the
Cracks
earth.
like in the ground that like they would literally crawl straight down into like different cracks in the ground, like fissures.
Like I think they're just big enough for a person to like go down them. Is like
Yeah.
how.
And then not far away where like the Condor home landed, those are more like actual like tunnels and caverns and things.
Yeah, and the Condor expanded the caverns
Yeah.
by digesting the walls. As you do.
Sometimes you gotta eat a wall. It's fine.
That sentence always makes me go like, Jesus Christ, guys, hardcore.
Condor
I'm
are
excited to
hardcore.
see.
They
I'm excited
are.
to see the Pits of Hassan on screen, like for the adaptation.
There's going to be an adaptation.
Eventually. Hopefully.
Allegedly.
Probably. He's
We're
writing
gonna go
it.
to Breeze.
Please
Yes.
do.
Yes.
I mean, we're gonna hopefully because we got to get Lady Ham
Lady Ham and Lady Doc.
and Lady Doc. Listen,
Yes.
I'm more focused on Lady Ham.
I know. I'm here for it. I'm so here for it. But yes.
Isn't it also Lady Marsh or no?
No.
No, I think they're keeping the brothers.
Yeah.
Although it would be interesting to make like the Inquisitors more gender neutral, since they're
Yeah. It doesn't.
more Spike than human anyway.
I feel
I
like
mean,
all the genders, all the Inquisitors should be completely ambiguous.
I actually agree with that. Yeah. I agree.
Yeah, Katrina?
Yes, they should only cast non-binary actors. I also agree.
Exactly. Mhm.
Hell yes.
Yeah.
Hell yes.
Although I do think like a woman Marsh does bring us interesting love triangle things with Mare.
That's true. That's like I wouldn't be against it, but I don't think that that's on the table. I haven't heard that anywhere. Just
Yeah.
as far as gender changes in the screenplay, it was Doxson and Hammond, and then he's also changing stuff with like Shan Alariel being Ellen's sister instead of his fiance, which is a little weird to me. But like he's got some reasoning behind it, but I don't like it. But that's
That sounds
okay. It's a
weird.
very minor twist.
That
I really
makes
like
her
Shannon
assassin
Elliott.
attempt more interesting.
Yes.
I'm just saying if they ever do it live action and they don't cast Doug Jones as a Kendra,
Oh,
gonna-
hell yeah. I
I'm gonna
fucking
cry.
love Doug Jones. I've met Doug Jones before. He's such a nice man.
Aww.
He's so nice. He called me a princess.
Aw.
That stuck with me. I
You
was
are a
like,
princess.
he's a very
Oh,
tall
he does look like a
fellow. I was
Kendra.
like
That's
to
a
his
big-
hip.
I was reading Rhett and Link. And one VidCon, you're like to their hips. It's very
Yeah.
disorienting.
It's fun being short.
So
Right?
sorry.
Yes.
That binge been going around Twitter where everybody's posting their height. It made me realize I don't have a single full body photo. But everyone is so goddamn tall.
No way! Everyone on book Twitter is a midget. They're super tiny.
I've
I
been
was gonna
seeing
say,
a lot of
everyone's
both.
taller than
They're
me.
all taller than me.
Taller than me.
Same.
Yeah. I know you do, Josh. I know you
We
want
had spent a
Lady
long
Ellen.
time yelling about Lady L in one of the chats at one point.
Yes. I am not against Lady Ellen, but I don't want Lady Ellen. But I support you.
Support you.
I'm not against it. Like if
I'm
it
not
happens,
against it. Yeah,
it's
that'd be fine. But I don't
fine.
specifically want that to be a change that happens.
Yeah.
I will say they're gonna have to update a lot of the gender stuff going into that screenplay.
Absolutely. That's like the
Especially
one
that
thing
boy
that's
Kendra scene.
so badly done in Mistborn is just like all the gender stuff. Which like he's gotten better at stuff like that over the years. But
He's
like that's one of the
growing.
things that's so not good is the gender stuff.
Katrina has a
Just like-
thought.
Yes.
I also really appreciated how Sanderson got less like Orientalist throughout the series. And, like,
Yes, thank you.
'Cause that's-
Thank you.
like if I read the first book and I was like, I don't know if I want to continue. This is pretty racist. And then I did, and he grew as a person and a writer.
Yes. Yes.
It's a rare person. Brandon Sanderson is one of those rare writers who actually listens to feedback and then changes things.
Absolutely does. And like he
Based on
absolutely
that
admits to
feedback?
mistakes that he's made when people have called him out and said like, hey, you did this and it was like really bad. Like when he did his like autistic representation in Elantris, everybody was like, no, nobody, no.
Yeah, everyone's like,
And
this
he
is
was
terrible.
like, he's like, okay, I see that, and I'm not going to touch that again until I know how to do it better. And he has somewhere down the line, which you will see.
Yes.
So like he
With
absolutely
a lot of
Do you have complaints about Adian? Is that what it is from
What?
Elantris?
yeah. That was his first step into like autistic representation,
didn't
and
know
it was
that. Oh, okay.
not good. It was not good.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, things like that. And now, like, anytime he's writing anything now, anytime he has any kind of sensitive issue like that, no matter what it is, he always has beta readers with those, like, whatever they are.
He has
so that
several
he can get.
sensitivity
Yeah,
readers.
he has lots of sensitivity readers now. When I don't think he did when he was first writing, obviously. So like, not only does he listen to feedback when people are like, "Hey, this was not good," and you should probably not do that going forward. He absolutely like takes that in stride and then does better, and then also listens to people who have those issues, whether it be like, I'll say that later down the line in one of the Cosmere books, there's like a paraplegic character, and he literally has paraplegic beta readers who it's much better representation than I think we got with Sen. This one, I will say that a lot better.
Speaking of
actually.
paraplegic, Ellen says something really ableist. And
yeah.
I think in Hero of Ages. Where
Yeah,
he's like,
I'm not
oh,
gonna
he
lie,
can't
I
do
never
anything.
caught that until it was pointed out in the Discord because it's just like a one-line thing. But yeah, I can see why it would upset people.
I got it.
Yeah.
In terms
It's
of the
just like-
gender stuff, like I think I was like a little doubtful like how much he has improved, but like I read like Starsight recently, and I can confirm he's definitely improved. with the gender.
It's much better
Starsight is
going forward.
fantastic.
It's so good.
That-
I love Starsight.
Yeah.
That's
Book
part of
3.
the Skyward series.
Mhm.
Yeah, Skyward's the first book, Starsight's the second. Apparently the third one's called Cytonic. No thanks.
I preferred Nowhere.
I did, everybody did, Jesse. Just not the
Why?
publisher. The publishers
We're not
didn't like it. They made him
Publisher's
change it.
wrong.
I agree. Nowhere is so much better. And it fits so much better with I swear.
Listen, the children do not know the word nowhere. Obviously, that is a too big of a word for young adult audiences.
So we'll give them the word Cytonic instead.
Right?
I don't even know what that word means.
I mean, it means something in the book.
It does mean something in the book, so I guess like
Yeah.
it makes sense.
That's a nonsense word.
And
Then.
everybody's- Anyways, we're not talking about Skyward here.
We're not talking about Skyward.
I haven't even read it yet. It's a nonsense
Good.
word.
Good. We gotta get back on track.
Not even in the Cosmere.
What else? It's not even in the Cosmere. What else?
Yet.
I wanna bring up?
Allegedly.
Allegedly. No. I think originally he was like wanting to do that, but then he just saw that he couldn't. So I don't think it's gonna eventually cross over the Cosmere.
It would be so far in the future.
Yeah.
They're so spacey.
Nothing would surprise me.
That's fair. That's very, very fair. What were the other things? So we talked about that and that.
Bree looks down her checklist.
So I had a list of like all the different like big things that happen in the book, and I'll just make sure we've gone over most of them so far, so we don't like skip anything that anybody watching might want us to go over as well.
Oh, I will say one more thing about Sanderson actually listening to people and changing things. I wish we did not have to say that as if it was a very rare thing, since it is a very rare thing. It should just be every writer. That's just
Like
a normal.
writers are gonna make
There should
mistakes
be
without
normal.
without bad intentions. Writers are still gonna make mistakes, and it's like all you gotta do is own up to it and then learn from it, and then it's fine. But like no, they dig holes.
They dig such deep holes.
They dig such deep holes. So how does everybody feel about Say's becoming God?
I
We
love
didn't
it.
actually talk about Say's ascending as well.
I love it.
Like we talked about the plot twist of him being the hero, but like how do we feel about
It made it all worth it.
him being God?
Yeah.
I love it. I love how a character that goes from literally struggling with religion and being like, I don't believe any of this anymore. I'm done. I don't believe any of it. To like literally being God.
Becoming God.
That journey.
It's a journey. It's a real
Like he's
journey.
losing his religion and then becoming religion.
Yeah. What are you doing, Casey?
We're not singing.
Just you going in the corner like doing the dance?
Also same.
Yeah, okay, good.
What
It
is
wasn't just me.
happening? What is happening, Casey? Casey's taking a dance break.
We're having an REM dance break
You don't just take REM dance breaks? Like, who are you?
all the time.
No, we don't.
Hold on, I have to feed my cat because she's like attacking my leg.
I
Right
can
now.
see that.
We'll talk nonsense while you feed the cat. How's everybody in chat feeling? How are y'all feeling? Is there anything we haven't covered yet in the book that you would like us to talk about? Shout it out now.
So the one thing about when Sazed is becoming God and he's just fully like really realizing those feelings about religion as he's becoming God, those few paragraphs are like real deep.
I literally I get like so like I get chills when he's like going like when he's literally like remaking the world and he's like mentioning every religion and the things he's pulling from it, and he's like, these people study the skies, and so that looking at their star charts tells me where the planet's supposed to be in orbit, and like these people had this and I could pull that, and then the fact that it was like none of them were true but they all had truth, that like that sentence, that sentence really like good. It like literally gives me chills. It's so good because that was like his whole thing in this book, was just struggling with finding the truth in the religion, and the fact that he's like, they don't all need to be true because they all do have truth and they do matter. And
it's so
like,
good. Yeah.
That's so
There was
so
one thing he said in that bit that I was like, is that going to come into play later? Is this going to be something relevant? Where he says that he's managed to restore their physical bodies to being like pretty, but he says, you know what I mean? Like not fucked up. He says the line like
attached.
He says, I haven't figured out how to put a soul back in yet. But he does say yet.
I'll just say, good job reading words, Max.
So I feel like that's going to be... I will not
forever deny if that comes up again, but I mean, it's not a throwaway line, clearly. So,
I don't think Sanderson does throwaway lines.
He doesn't do throwaway lines. Right. I mean, I will say sometimes he does try to throw you off with a line, but even then that line will still matter somewhere, and it really pisses me off.
Yeah, even the lines that like are like pointing to that, but are actually, even though that's gonna happen, it's all.
It's still its own thing.
It drives me crazy.
Fine. I'm fine.
He just loves
you guys.
foreshadowing.
You guys are really gonna have a fun time with me when we get to the Stormlight month. I'm gonna be such an unbearable person to talk to.
I'm gonna be screaming.
I'm excited.
What we got here? Saying that I think Elle will die because causing Vin to be more badass and intense. See, we had a whole conversation about this, Max, when you said that. Josh was like, "Oh, look, he predicted it." And I was like, "No. Vin was gonna do what she was doing anyway. Like she was already in the throes of the power and trying to take down Ruin,
and she murders like."
But I do. That is one of my favorite lines in the book when she's like, "You shouldn't have killed Ellen because now I have nothing left to live for." It's like so badass,
right?
But did they kill each other though?
Yes. Actually, there's in the epigraphs, like early on in the epigraphs, it literally explains like how those two powers are such opposites of each other that they could not clash without like canceling each other out. Like that's why they could not like go against each other directly, because they would both die, and that's what like Vin basically killed herself to take him out. That's what happened, and that's why the power was just left there for Sazed to take. So they did kill each other. Okay,
because the way I kind of thought of it was that it's just because something cancels each other out doesn't mean that it stops existing. It just kind of
it didn't stop existing. The power did not stop existing.
Right.
The power was still there.
So I was like, where did the ability for all of the Earth to like rejuvenate or whatever you want to call it? Where did that come from? I thought that came from them kind of like just resetting the balance or just redirecting the power.
I don't think the power is not sentient enough to have done that by itself.
It's not sentient enough on its own. It's power, but it needs someone to direct it to really have that kind of effect.
It has like a base want, but it doesn't.
It has a directive like ruin or preservation.
But like, and also they talk about how like you can't like preservation can't create by himself. Like they need each other to do things, even though they also cancel each other out in other aspects. Like it's such a very tight rope that they're walking.
It's a very tight rope. Yes, they're literal opposites in that sense. So yeah,
they need each other to build the Legos.
They need each other to build the Legos. Yeah, can't build the Legos without a friend. That's just sad.
True.
That's lonely.
But yes, that's what happened there. Is like they literally clashed against each other, canceling each other out. But the power remained and had no one to guide it. And Sazed was able to take both, which is a whole thing.
A whole thing.
That is a good comment.
Exploded a man's face with her face. Good job, Alex. I do think she was going to take out Ruin anyway. Like I don't have any doubt that she would have done it, because like she couldn't see any way to do balance. Like they kept blocking each other anytime she tried to do anything. So it was like, at least if she took him out, then he'd be out. Like obviously the world was ending anyway. she couldn't know that, like, Sadie's was going to fix it all 5 minutes later. I don't think. But,
Right.
But
Or that
like,
was
I think
possible to fix it all.
I
Like,
think that
she
I think that she would have. Yeah, she would. I think she would have done it anyway, despite, like, even if Ellen hadn't died right then. But it definitely gave her that nudge to just dive on in, I think. But I guess that's up for interpretation. So,
What is our next thing, Brie?
do we have anything else to talk about? Did anybody have any feelings on, like, the whole reveal with the Kloss being human?
I still have questions about that.
I thought you might. I don't know if I have
Yeah.
answers, but come forth.
My main question with that is, what happens if you pull the pins out of a Colossus that's alive?
I think they die, absolutely.
Because they're not like they talk about how they lose their minds and they don't have enough there after the pins have been installed to really continue on. Like, they would just die. Like, the pins are what's keeping them alive at that point.
Okay, I'll accept it. I'll accept
I'm pretty
that.
sure they would absolutely die.
I'm just looking at my question list to see which questions won't take like half an hour.
We can do those at the end.
Yeah, I was gonna do like a whole
we'll
question.
wait.
Once we're done,
We'll
like,
just
fully
wait.
discussing topics, we'll do any questions that are left. So, is there any specific things that anybody here or anybody in chat wants us to go over from the book itself or the overall series before we get into that?
Installed. I don't know why that just made me giggle.
I like how Josh is like asking me things in the all spoilers. Because something that, like, Max asked like a while ago, and he's like, "Well, do you want to bring up this to explain that?" I don't know that I do.
No, it's no.
Because I feel like we get more answer to that going forward.
Yeah.
Josh. So I'm gonna leave it. But
It's funny though, because we were talking about, like, Sazed and being, like, his, like, journey, like, through religion specifically.
Yes.
And I remember in the very first book with our live show, we asked everybody what their favorite was, and I couldn't really answer my why, but that's my why for Sazed, like, why I relate to him so much.
Oh, right.
Growing up super religious, and then being like, this is all fake. And then, like, going through that journey, like, I related to Sazed a lot.
Yeah. Like, having that questioning the faith that you previously believed in. And,
yeah,
like,
you're like, I believed this my whole life. Like, why is
facing
everything
it and
alive?
trying to figure out, like, where you fit after that. Yeah, it's a very real struggle, and it's
Did
done
you become
so
God,
well.
though?
It is done.
Did you
so
become
well.
God, Jesse? Are you God?
Not yet.
We gotta finish that journey.
Not yet.
Not yet.
I'm gonna stay on your
year.
good side.
Dear Lord, that just sounds like I mean, keeping 2 children alive is hard enough. I couldn't imagine.
I can barely keep myself alive. so.
Right? Like, I can't keep plants alive.
Well, Jesse, when you become God, don't forget us.
I got you.
Don't forget.
I want to be a Mistborn.
Right?
I want to be a Mistborn.
I know, right? Like, I don't want to be God. I want to be a Mistborn.
Putting in my request right now. Once you
My
have all
formal
that
God
sweet
request?
stuff.
Right?
Did anybody have it? Did any of the religions stand out to you? Sazed goes over like 10 of them in that
God,
last
there's
like
so many.
paragraph. Yes, one of their names is on my trivia this time.
Oh,
I did that
I
one
like
of the
the
times.
star one. I don't know why, but I like them. The ones that like map the
Yeah.
stars in the sky and everything. The Psi something.
I'll tell you.
Psi something.
I have
You
them
know,
all
I
tagged,
like
don't-
the art appreciated one.
Mm.
Yeah.
Also very similar to Warbreaker.
I like the. I mean, this is probably an unpopular opinion, but I like the survivorist religion. Mainly because of
It's so interesting because you see it develop in worlds.
Yeah, it's
like,
very interesting.
Like, you know what started it, and you see how it takes off on it, like becomes its own thing outside of that, and it's such an interesting thing.
yeah. The main reason I like it is just Demo. Just like, I love Demo so much, so I like it.
I also love Demo. It's a good side character.
Everyone's just putting their requests in now.
When you ascend,
I
Jessica,
got
also,
this.
like,
When I ascend, I got you.
I like jewelry.
Exactly.
Casey, the religion you like is called the Bennett, the one who did like the star charts and stuff.
Oh, okay.
I like them.
Yeah,
I like
sure.
the-
Wait, I think so. Yeah. Wait, maybe.
I was
No, wait.
thinking
The
of
one who. Never mind. Just kidding. That's the Nelazan who worship the stars. There's one who did like map making and one who did stars. I have them all tabbed. That was one of the things when I go, because like when I did Stormlight tabbing, I had like a color for each thing, but like obviously not everything transfers over. Like things like foreshadowing, I use the same color for, but like specific book things. So I was like, what am I going to use this color tab for? So I tabbed every single religion mentioned in this series just for fun to keep track of. So yeah, they're all.
Gotta keep track of those religions.
Also, I just want you to know, I opened this page and I just underlined on his arms.
No.
Lie against me, guys. It was on his goddamn arms.
On his arms.
On his arms.
I can't tell you how many times we yell that at each other.
Literally, like anytime we think about it, we're like, "Hey, did you know it was on his arms?" Oh, it's a good time.
Like
I'm
that
sure
song.
everyone we know is sick of us.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
What else is on the list?
I think we've covered all like the big plot twist things. We talked about Ruin, the Adium, Says Becoming God. Was there any more Khandra stuff you wanted to talk about, Max? Just like in general, or?
Just about improvising mixed musculature was my main question.
Right.
Because Mistwraiths can do it, so why can't Khandra do it?
I think they probably can, but I just don't think they do. Like I just don't think because they mostly follow like the human form. Like they comment on that a lot.
But like, could a Khandra make something that worked around anything solid? Like if you gave it like a bunch of rocks, could it do it?
I mean, they had literally skeletons made of rocks. Like one of their true bodies was.
Yeah,
made
but
of
they were definitely bone shaped.
Well, yeah, but I think that they could shape it in other ways because that like they make the true bodies out of different materials, so they end up shaping it how they want.
So if they had a lump
feel
of
like
that material, I feel like they could do.
Yeah,
something
I feel like they could make a pattern off of it. That's not like the standard. Like
I think it would take them longer though. I think that's why they prefer bones.
Yeah, exactly.
Or
because like
fake
you know, they were once.
They want those
Also,
sweet bones.
Yes.
I do want to know about.
When Vin was first talking to Tensoon about why he felt degraded being in the dog body, and he kind of explained then that he could, but it's just like a sense of, I don't know, did he say it was like honor or something, or just like tradition,
pride,
a sense of pride to be in the human form. So that's not impossible. It's just personal
and
reason.
Tensoon has thoughts throughout, like a few times in this book, about how they model themselves after humans, and like what that means and why they do it, even though they don't have to.
Yeah, I mean, like, and then you also learn that like the original, like the first generation were human. Like there's a reason why that stuck with them so long. Is like that they keep those true bodies looking like people because they were people originally. Like not like all the Khandra we have now they started as Mistwraiths, but like the origin of their story was people.
I mean, the Mistwraiths started as people. They were turned into Mistwraiths.
Yes, but then they created their own species.
I want a blob.
Casey's new request: make me a Mistwraith.
I want to be a Mistwraith. I've decided. Not even a Khandra, a Mistwraith. I don't want to be.
I just want a blob.
I just want
I don't want to be sentient. I just want to eat horses.
I gotta tweet that from our out of context Cosmere Twitter. 1 second. I've been on there in a hot minute.
I don't want to be sentient. I just want to eat horses.
Give me a moment.
Casey, you're never gonna get to the end of the Cosmere with that attitude. You can't read if you're not sentient.
Listen, I want to be a blob more.
I'm done.
I also want to know about Khandra naming convention and where that comes from.
Oh yeah, your question was about the first generation, right? Why they have human names?
I get why they have human names, but I don't understand why
the other generations have names.
The double barrel names.
Yeah, I remember when you first asked that, I was trying to look it up, and I don't think I found like an exact like answer on it. But like I don't understand why they have a different naming system. Obviously, like the first generation having normal names makes sense, but why they doesn't make sense. But I don't remember if I found the answer to that. I felt like I found something that came close to it because I told you like I found something, but I don't remember what it was. I should have screenshotted.
I don't know what you're talking about. I say completely normal things 100% of the time.
Casey's always normal all the time.
And do they die if you cut them in half?
No, okay, I did find an answer on that, so give me a second. I think it was like it depends, but I think they literally would just like reabsorb like into one, if that makes sense.
But what if you cut them in half, then took the two pieces far away?
I think it depends on where the spikes are.
It depends on where the spikes are for sure.
Like if you cut the spikes separately.
Oh yeah, that would probably kill them.
But if you cut like a chunk off and all the spikes are on one side, then that one side is fine. They're just smaller.
Like I think it would just like their mass would be smaller because you took some of the mass.
Yeah, I didn't remember the spikes. That's actually fair. I can accept that.
Okay, so the first thing that comes up when I just search for Condra names, somebody literally asked him, this was in 2016, the thing with the Condra naming was 2 parts. Is that purely a Condra thing, or did it come from the first generation in the Terrace? And he said, good question, that's a Raffo. In 2016, do we not have an answer still? Give me a moment. There might be an answer deeper in here.
Listen, he answers a lot of questions in things, but he also gives you like 20 new questions. So it's an endless cycle.
But I could have sworn I found something that was like related to that one after the first time.
I felt like you did, but I felt like you said it was a Raffo ultimately.
I mean, it might have been, but I don't remember what it was at all.
I think you were working while you were looking.
I was at work that day, yeah.
Cat scream in background.
Yep.
These are not even quite. Oh.
So when you guys Raffo, does it mean that like you can find the answers on what's already published, or is it like
not necessarily?
Not necessarily. Like when he Raffos, because like that could mean it won't happen until the very last book in the entire Cosmere, and he hasn't written yet. But like when I give you guys a Raffo, that's me usually saying that like I know the answer and it's down the line. Like if I don't know the answer, I would probably just say we don't know yet. You know. Okay. So anytime I give you a Raffo, it usually means that I know and you will get there.
Okay.
I don't think I've ever Raffoed you on something that I didn't actually know the answer to.
Yeah, I think we mostly.
I don't think so. I think like everything you guys have brought up thus far in this.
Once we get into Stormlight, though, all that all.
Oh yeah, it's all out the window. You're gonna be like, "What's this mean?" I'm like, "Please tell me, because I don't know.
I don't know either."
Like,
tell me what you think, so I can have a brain and have my own thought, because I don't have thoughts.
I don't have thoughts.
Oh. I guess with Casey not having sentience, I mean, we're really losing a lot tonight.
Well, you know, we did say, you know, people might die during this live show, so we don't know what's going to happen.
We did say that. Why can't I find this? That's a weird question.
We're having Word of Brandon troubles, WOB troubles, if you will.
I mean, I'm finding lots of stuff, but not like specifically what I was looking for. But I was so sure I found something relating to it last time, and I should have screenshotted it because I'm a dumb bitch. I was at work and I didn't think about it. This is what I do at work: is somebody in the Discord asks a question, and I just go hide and look up Word of Brandon. It's fine. I hate.
We can find them in like a fraction of the time that I can. So
yeah, well, I've also read them all, so it's like it's helpful when I know if like I know there's a Word of Brandon on it. I've read every single one, some multiple times.
How many are there?
Oh, I don't know an overall count. They're all split. Like if you go,
hundreds.
More than hundreds. Like certain. If hang on, let me go back. Because like if you go to like where the Word of Brandon pages, it shows just like every time he's done like a signing or a stream or an event where he answers questions. Like it could literally be it's its own category. So like, they're always putting like a new thing. It's like, oh, he did this interview or this YouTube live stream, and it tells you the number that's in them. Like some only have like 8 or 5 questions answered, but you could scroll down and find one that has like.
And when it used to
64.
Be like, when it used to be like
100.
a live signing, someone, normally one of the 17 starters, would put like a listening device on the table so that they could catch
every single one,
all the questions asked, and then they would go through and like transcript what was asked and what was answered in the whole signing.
The whole signing, yeah.
And it was normally like at our signing.
There's people dedicated to collecting and preserving the WOBs for future reference. But
future generations.
There's probably like it's probably in the thousands for how many directly ones there are.
Because he gets asked so many questions every.
He gets asked so many questions, yeah.
And
like also at signings, like whenever any of those like hardcore sharders are there, at the end of the signing, he probably won't do this in the future because he's changed like how he does questions and signings and stuff. But like they would just everybody would go through and like get to ask a question while they got their book signed. But then at the end of the night, when like all those people were out of the way, like that little group would go forth and be like, okay, speed round into like 10 minutes and just throw.
They would just go like as fast as they could.
And they would just have lists. Like they're like, hey, if you don't have a question to ask, just pick one from my list. I have lists because you can only like ask one. Like you have to, because there's so many people.
It's like while he's signing your book, you can.
It's a really fun time. I miss signing so much.
That list is scary.
The amount of things that like Max is really good at like picking apart some like deep dive questions that like other people wouldn't think of, but like they go so hard, and I'm like, why would you even think to ask this? Like, why did this come to your brain? This is such a like deep lore thing that I was like, Sanderson won't know this, and then you ask Sanderson, and he like knows the answer off the top of his head.
Or Raffo.
How do you know that? Why did you think that? It's wild.
Yeah, it's all ridiculous. What is our next plan?
I don't know if we have anything else to discuss as far as the book goes. So last chance to get any discussion in before we'll do any more questions that anybody has just about anything that hasn't been answered. And then we'll dive into like the art and the memes and the trivia and all that fun stuff.
I'm going to rent in the bathroom because I drink a lot of Pedialyte. I'll be right back.
Pedialyte.
Okay. Well, KCPs, if anybody in chat watching has any other things they want us to discuss about the general book, plot, characters, any of that stuff before we just get into more things outside of that, let us know. Let us know.
Watch when this is
Hey,
over.
what's for next month?
Huh?
What's next month's book?
Next month is White Sands, the graphic novel series, which I don't think all of you are joining us for. I don't know. It's not like super necessary. I haven't actually read it yet. That tells you how unnecessary it is.
I didn't join, but I'm like already finished with volume 1 and 2, so I probably will.
Yeah, and depending on like how many of you, the hosts, are planning to read it, will depend on like what we're gonna do for the live show, because it's 3 graphic novels. They're not like super long, so like I don't know how long a live show discussing that would be.
Yeah.
So depending where everybody decides to fall on that, we might next month maybe do just like a mid-year check-in for like everything we've read so far, just kind of like a where we're at so far kind of situation, and we can touch on White Sand in that or something along those lines, because I just don't feel like we would have like a very long live show for White Sand.
Right.
Yeah.
There's not a lot that happens in White Sands at all.
That's why I haven't read it yet. I know what happens in White Sand. I'm excited to read it just because it's the last like Cosmere thing I've never read. But like I know anything of relevance that happens in it, and it's not that much. A lot of people will say like you don't even need to read it; it's not important, and it's not, but it is tied.
It's not, but it's still cool.
It is tied into Cosmere. So yeah, when we're done with this live show, we'll like chat and figure out like who all is planning to read it with us. Because like if you want to skip it, like that's not a big deal. But if you do want to read it, then we'll figure out what we want to do for that live show. So next month we might do like just like a mid-year Cosmere check-in, because we're like at the halfway point just about. So after that, all we'll have after White Sand is Era 2 and Stormlight. So
exciting!
I'm excited to like get to where I'm a first-time reader, like to get back to like
being like everything being fresh for you. I'm excited.
I'm excited.
Yeah, see the artwork in the first 2 volumes of White Sand is very like it's not clean. Like it's not like bad. Like the art itself isn't bad, but like you can see all like the little lines in it, and it's just really weird. And they got a new artist for the 3rd volume, and you can see that it's like much cleaner. Like it's still the same. Like the art still looks the same, but it's much cleaner, much more crisp.
I will say that the very last chapter of volume 2 is a lot. It's comparatively cleaner than the rest of. Volume
3 is like completely clean. Like I flipped through and checked because I didn't remember, because I knew they changed artists. I didn't remember if it happened in volume 2 or volume 3, so I checked. But yeah, volume 3 is in blood. Yeah, I absolutely understand. It's hard to look at. So if somebody just like can't like handle like that art style, it just doesn't like. Don't feel bad if you want to skip White Sand next month. I'm not going to come at you because you skipped a Cosmere thing. I still haven't read it, so it should tell you where it sits on my priority list. So
I will probably skip it.
Yeah, that's absolutely fine. So we'll see where like who all does want to read it and want to do that, and then that'll determine what we do as far as live shows next month.
Yeah, I might try the graphic audio if you say it's good, Josh, because I also don't know if I can handle that art style.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think Josh started it graphic audio.
Yeah, art. He did it. The graphic audio recently.
They're so expensive.
Neat.
Oh, it changes halfway in volume 2. I didn't know that.
That's kind of weird.
Yeah,
that's annoying.
I know they got a new artist, but maybe they did it in the middle of the volume, and like I don't know, they couldn't pay him to like redo all of the first stuff. I don't know.
Oh.
I know it was like his first foray into doing like any kind of graphic novel.
That just seems very like jarring for it to change in the middle of the volume.
Yeah.
I wonder, is it the same artist for Dark One?
Oh, I have no idea. I don't know.
No, it's not.
I don't think so.
It's a new person. Dark One's good though. The art in Dark One's good. It's very shadow heavy though. There's a lot of black.
That's the one that I'm interested in getting is Dark One.
Yeah, I'm very excited about that. He's been talking about that for a long time, and I forgot it was coming out until I think Casey like sent me a picture of it on Goodreads and was like, "Did we know about this?" And I was like, "Yeah, Casey, we've known about this forever." And she was like, "I don't remember." Like, when it came out, Casey was like, "I did not remember that he was coming out with a new graphic novel." And I was like, "Yeah."
Yeah. Then Max.
I always read like the State of Sanderson. So like he always talks in his State of Sanderson, which is like his big newsletter at the end of the year. he talks about like every single project he's got that's in the works, that's forthcoming, that he's talked about, but might be 10 years away. Like he gives you updates on where everything sits. And so it's like, I remember that was in like multiple State of Sandersons because it was an idea he was working on for a while. I give Casey the highlights so she doesn't have to read it. It's fine. So yeah, do we want to go into any further questions that anybody has about Mistborn Era 1 that were not yet answered in these books?
I have a couple more, but I don't want to take over the live show.
Okay, I'll make the answers quick. I can raffle you like this. If I don't want to answer, I'll just say raffle, even if I can. I'll just surprise you. Raffles everywhere.
Okay. Sciencey questions. Where does the metal go when you burn it?
Okay, about that, apparently, raffle.
Right. Okay. Why do the lines when you steel push go to your chest if you're burning the metal in your stomach?
See, I never questioned this, and like Casey and I were like, "Why is Max so hung up on this?" So I don't know if there's an answer to that.
My thing was that I assumed it was your stomach. They just
like your stomach is like right here. It's like your actual stomach.
Like
where,
it's high enough. I feel like it could count.
Yeah,
but
that's what I always took it like that.
But I feel like it sounds better than like saying your stomach. Like in writing.
Yeah, but even if they had specified and said like your center or like your solar plexus, somewhere like that, then I would have been like, yeah, okay, I get it. My main big question from this whole book though was that the freaking Hoyd ambush.
Oh right, that is also a raffo, and that does get explained. That you absolutely find out what was going on there, and the not.
There was definitely.
There's definitely something happening there.
Yeah.
It's not like a throwaway thing because it's like it's such a you absolutely picked up on something and it will be explained.
Wait, I have no memory of this scene.
Okay,
so when Wynn goes into the city, is it Fadro?
Fadrix,
where she goes into the city. She's sent to meet with contacts, and the second contact she's sent to meet with is Hoyd. And then she goes to the place where she's meant to be meeting him, and then immediately senses like insane levels of danger, somebody burning metal and then not burning metal, and she just legs it. She just
gets a bad vibe, doesn't question it, and just goes. She even like thinks about it. She's like, it's enough for me. I have a bad feeling, so I'm just not gonna follow it up. And she's like, Ellen wouldn't have done that. He would have been like, question it. She's like, I'm fine. It's a bad feeling. I'm gonna go.
Yeah.
What's that? Like, it's just made the decision done. But yeah, there's absolutely something happening there, and you will get that answer in the future.
Good.
Nice.
In a while.
In a while. There was something I wanted to touch on about that though. Oh, speaking of, while we're on that scene, did any of you know, because I know I put this in the Discord because somebody else had asked about it at one point, but I didn't know if all of you caught on to that the first contact she meets is a man named Slow Swift. And a lot of people initially think that's Hoyd until a moment later you're like, oh, she's actually going to go meet Hoyd now. But that's actually like a tribute to J.R.R. Tolkien, Slow Swift.
Is it really?
It was, it's his little like nod to J.R.R. Tolkien. Is the character Slow Swift, and a lot of people don't like catch it because it's just like this weird old dude. But it's a fun fact. I just wanted to give you.
That is a fun fact.
Nice.
Bree has many fun facts. Most of them you can't know
that. That's fair. Hoyd's a creepy dude.
I also don't think I questioned it the first time I read it. I think I was like, yeah, it's Hoyd.
I think I did because the way it's like portrayed is like she just immediately gets a bad vibe. It's not even just like she's like. I think like Hoyd's like humming to himself, and she's like, I'm gonna back up, and I'm like,
the fact that like the fact that she has taken down Kolos, and she gets a bad vibe from that, that is
exactly.
Bad.
It's like for it to be a big enough deal that she's not gonna follow up the contact. Yeah. I mean, like, what if there was useful information there, and she just was like, no, I'm not gonna touch it. Like that's it's something. I promise it gets explained.
Is it explained to why she got a bad vibe about it?
Yes.
Okay.
It's not like you'll see it. You'll see.
Okay.
It's you shouldn't be confused at all when you get there.
I mean,
if you are, I will give you more information.
Oh my.
Okay. Yeah, I'm done then. Thanks.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions?
We answered every single one of Max's questions.
So
well, I mean, we didn't answer them all, but we went through them.
We tried.
They
went through them.
Not a couple of raffos. All right. Do we want to do? What are we doing first? Trivia. Which I don't think I did hard trivia because we went over like 4 of these during the discussion. So I don't think trivia is going to stump you too much. Okay. Max is the king of raffos now.
Right.
Yeah.
Get all of that raffos. How did you think of that?
That's how I feel
like-
about the 17 charters.
Yeah, I like. We'll see. Like, there's so many different levels because, like, I'm on my own level. I'm not on like 17 star people's level. But I'm on my own level. And then you got like Max is like down here. Like, he's not that far below. I'm like, he doesn't know as much as me. But like at the nitpicky level of like paying attention to things.
Yeah.
And then you got people like CeeLo who's just riding that train, not questioning.
You're just here for the ride.
Here for the ride.
Same here.
Love it. It's
That's
like,
so me. I'm just
gonna
here,
go for the
like-
ride, and then you guys can tell me what the fuck happened after because I don't know.
I love that. That's
I respect
me.
that, honestly. That was
Yes.
me. I don't know what happened to us, but we got real invested.
Invested. We did.
And then we
Bro,
died.
I'm here to cry.
I'm
Same.
gonna be a
Bro, I'm here
shorter
to
one
cry.
day. I promise.
Yes.
You absolutely.
Gonna happen.
Honestly, Max and I are gonna ride into shard battle together. Like, tell me what you know.
Tell
Give me the
me all the
answers.
things.
I do want to try and reach out to them and be like, hey, do you want to do like a discussion with us at some
I
point?
know. I mean, like, we can
That
reach
would
out
be
to Argent
cool.
for sure. I mean, we're technically friends with Argent, Casey. We know
We
one
do
of
kind of
them.
know Arjun.
Yeah.
When I finally get up to date, fully Cosmere aware, all the other sharders are gonna be like something's happened.
I can feel it in the air.
Force.
This guy's coming.
Right?
Disturbance in the force. It's
All
not
They're gonna get that bad vibe. Like Vin did.
Disturbance in the
Yeah.
force. Yes.
Yes. All right. Okay. Who's ready for some trivia? It's not hard at all. Question
Not
number
anymore.
1. What is an adium misting called? It's said once in the whole book.
Good one. I'm not taking part. I read it 12 hours
Yo,
ago.
man.
Yeoman, just kidding.
It's said by Yeoman because Yeoman already knew he was an adium misting before we get that whole adium misting reveal, and he calls himself a thing. Any guesses? Thank you for your contributions, Alex.
An egg.
I mean, it is an egg, but that's not the answer.
I like that. We're just.
The answer is
Oh.
a seer.
Oh, wait.
Seer.
Oh, yeah.
He calls himself a seer.
That's kind
But
of a word.
huh?
It's kind of a boring thing to call it.
It's very
Blame
on the
Yeoman.
nose.
I mean, he's a pretty boring guy. I'm not gonna lie. It was a seer, Josh. Good job. I don't know how big the lag is, so I assume you asked that before I said it.
I think it's like 15, 20 seconds. It's a bit.
Yeah. Okay,
Fine.
question number 2. What do the Khandra call the clause of the first contract that states that they must kill themselves?
Oh.
I'll just sit here. I just read this.
I know. I'm like, I know this.
What was the
Could
question
ask
again?
these questions.
What do the Khandra call the clause of the first contract that states that they must kill themselves? They say it a lot. They're like, it's here. The
I
thing
know.
is here.
The
The egg clause.
the egg clause. The egg clause is nigh.
Yeah, Josh coming in. It was the resolution.
Resolution.
The resolution has come.
Well
right.
remembered.
Oh right.
Josh.
Not
Which-
the revolution.
I like the egg clause.
That's a whole other thing.
Change it.
Whole other thing.
Revelation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our word.
Very similar.
Which religion did Mare follow and the picture of the flower originate from? Probably not going to guess. 'Cause it's not one that's mentioned a lot.
I don't know this one. I just read it and I don't know this one.
This one, that religion was called the Larsta.
Oh right.
This one's an easy one because we talked about this. What number kept popping up in the data collected about the
16.
misstep?
Yeah.
Okay, it's not that hard. Oh, Josh didn't remember that one. That was nice. Okay. What was the meaning of Spook's old name, Lestiborns?
Last thing I was born.
Last day I was born. Eastern street slang for I've been abandoned. We all take a moment to cry.
Right.
Try.
Okay. What's the name of the female Khandra who is friends with Tensoon?
Oh.
She's there a couple
That?
of times.
It doesn't.
That's with an A, right?
No.
No.
There's the M.
No.
That's an
I
A.
think
It
it
starts
starts
with
with
an
an
M.
Mhm.
Starts with an M.
Merla or something?
I don't.
That's syllables.
Okay. Kids in the chat are getting it. It's
Not-
Milan.
Mila. Oh.
It doesn't have that many A's in it. Actually, it has 2 A's and 1 E.
Mila.
So you both spelled it wrong. You both spelled it wrong. It's MELAAN. Milan. I don't know. Other people say it differently. I say Milan. Anyways. She's a good one.
Melon.
Melon. My love, my baby. Okay.
Maria.
What is Say's true title in the prophecy of the Terrace religion? We also talked about that.
Sounds no, not sounds.
We literally said this word in this discussion.
The I almost cursed. So I tried to not.
I don't want to curse on live shows. I really should probably.
Hero of Eggies.
Alex,
No,
I appreciate your egg contribution.
Over.
Does no one remember it?
Hold
I
on,
literally
I'm
said it
typing
in this
something.
discussion.
I know, and I'm like
Announcer?
Egg announcer. It was the announcer.
The announcer. The narrator. For some reason, I had the narrator stuck in my head, and I'm like, this is not right.
The like fake title that like Ruin changed for him was the Holy First Witness, because that's what people were calling him. So he changed that in the prophecy. The original title was the announcer. That's what Tensoon calls him, and he's like, wait, what the fuck?
Right. The narrator. I don't know why.
The
narrator.
I mean, technically, he does feel like a narrator because he's the one doing the epigraph. So it's
Right.
like, no, I get why you went.
Good. It's not wrong.
Okay. Where am I at?
I don't know.
Was that? Wait, what am I doing? Okay. Next question. How did Quellian, the citizen, get spiked? How did he get his spike?
In a fight. Somehow.
In a bar fight.
No?
In a bar fight?
This one is so interesting to me because it's in an epigraph.
It's the answer to this is an epigraph, so it makes sense if you don't remember it.
Was it like when Spook jumped out of a building?
It's before that. It's before all of the.
Oh yeah.
He spikes himself.
You know what? This is a question I don't want to deal with right now, Josh. Don't want to deal with it, okay?
He can be both. He can have more than one identity.
He can be whoever he wants, and he is in fact.
All of the above.
Anyways, okay, the answer to the question. Nobody had the answer?
No.
He spiked himself. There's a whole epigraph talking about, like, that's also what happened with Zane. Like, if somebody's unstable enough, that Ruin can get enough control to make them place the spike themselves, and that's what the citizen did.
Crazy.
I remember, like, I was excited when I got to that, because I kept being like, wait, who spiked Zane? And I completely forgot that he just did it himself.
Yeah.
But not to just stab yourself, just a little bit.
A little bit. I mean, it makes sense. It makes sense for Zane. Yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, Zane had a cutting problem, so we don't even know if that was on purpose.
Exactly. Maybe he did it accidentally.
You just got it in the right spot on the first go without meaning to. All right, you should know the answer to the next two because we also talked about these and it's easy. What did Marsh do to Vin that enabled her to ascend? There you go. Spence just, yes, he pulled out her earring. Ripped that bitch out.
Sounds so painful.
I know, I don't want to
He just broke all of her bones. I think the earring was the least painful.
I'm not going to experience the bones. I could experience the earring.
Like, I'm just like,
Basically saying that no one's gonna come break all your bones because I mean, like, don't jinx yourself.
Right.
I knocked on wood. It's fine.
So this trilogy, Vin's earring gets ripped off twice, right? Once in Final Empire and the second time in Hero of Ages.
Yes, that's actually true.
Which doesn't actually make sense to me because, like, when you rip it out, it's no longer like a hole. So, like, how did she like re-pierce her own ear after it healed?
Maybe it was the other ear. I don't know.
I mean, she probably literally just re-pierced it. It's
Maybe
Vin. She's not gonna care.
Right,
She's
she
just
probably
gonna
just
stab
like,
it right in there. Yeah.
No, but it's
Vin,
like
Vin don't give no shits, Casey.
Vin also stabbed herself.
She probably made a new hole and just shoved it in there,
this is
and then
this
burned
is
computer to like not hurt.
all my bones are already broken. Alex is a point.
That's true. Okay, one question left on the trivia. What was the deal between ruin and preservation? We talked about this.
Oh, it was that Ruin would eventually get to kill everybody.
Yeah, eventually.
Yes. The deal was that Ruin would help preservation create sentient, independent life that he would then be allowed to eventually destroy. That was their deal. And preservation broke that deal and put that bitch in a prison. I love preservation so much.
He delayed the deal.
Hmm?
He delayed the deal.
I mean...
Yeah, they were going to have brunch together. That was the deal.
They were going to have brunch.
Okay, so that was all of the trivia. Good job, everybody. I thought you would get more of those. I'm not going to lie. Because we actually talked about some of them.
Yeah, but we talked about a lot of stuff.
We talked about a lot.
It's true. We've already been going for 2 hours. So, like,
Because I read it such a long time ago.
I feel like in the 2 to 3 weeks since the beginning of May when we first read it, I've read so many things. I'm like, wasn't that last year?
Was that?
Yeah. What's happening? Who am I?
I finished it like 14 hours ago. Get on my level.
Get on. Yeah,
So
you're supposed to read it at the beginning of the month stuff, and then you're supposed to reread it the night before, all in one go, like easy.
I fell off the bandwagon.
Like, no, you got all the egg points, Alex.
All the eggs.
All of the egg points.
I just learned what an egg cup was yesterday.
Oh.
It's random thing.
Random egg related trivia.
Now this is the egg life show. Moving into the egg. Get your eggs out of my body.
All right, egg bear, let's go.
Basically, I'm gonna get us started on art. We'll do the art and then go into the chapter. We have 2 different folders of art to go in because I made a joke and then decided to follow through with it.
Yes, we made a joke. So the first folder is to cry to.
I always say that there's one piece of art that's the most, like one scene in the whole series that's the most made art. And so I made a folder of just that art. So we can just look at that in multiple forms.
Because
and
that's
then
what
we'll
you
look
guys
at it.
want.
I was trying to find art that we hadn't seen yet for the other folder. That's just like general Hero of Ages art because we've just seen a lot of character art so far. So,
so this is the art that's most depicted in the fandom.
You cannot Google anything in Mistborn without coming across this art in so many forms.
So we're
that's
gonna just
why
go through them
you were not
real fast.
allowed to Google art of Mistborn.
Yeah, if anyone was like, "Why can't I Google art?" when Brew was yelling at them, this is why.
This is why you would have seen them dead in the field.
Okay, so someone brought up like in the picture before.
Oh my god, I like this
gray
one.
tissue paper.
Oh yeah, that was my boyfriend Justin. He said that in the Discord.
Yeah.
Looked like she's been TP'd.
It does.
Yeah. Also, one thing I noticed when I was collecting all this art is that all of the flowers are freaking white, and I'm like, the whole point of the flowers is that they're colorful, and everybody draws them white, but they're not
But
white.
look at how pretty this looks.
Yeah.
They're pretty,
does
but they're
look
not
pretty.
white, are they?
One with the yellow daffodils.
Yeah,
I
like
think it's
yellow's a color.
because
I'll take it.
it's the white lilies, and that's like a funeral flower.
Yeah, but they're not white. The whole point was that the flowers are colored. It drives me crazy because like almost all
Look,
of
there
them.
you go.
That one's got
Colorful.
colors. That one's got colors. Hang on, which one's
I
my
kind
favorite?
of picture them like in the flowers, though.
Yeah, they're always like drawn like with like not in like the flowers around them and not in them.
That one's just very sad.
Yeah, that one is sad. They're like
They're also upside down, but I'll forgive it.
What did they do with the bodies?
I think they buried them.
I think they're
Raffo.
very good.
Raffo.
Raffo.
They
Hey,
just
that
wanted
Left
to-
them there.
That art right there is actually one of the stickers in the giveaways. That picture right there. So
That's so pretty.
got a sticker of that in the giveaway.
Do we get an answer as to why Ruin had red hair?
I mean, it's not really. I don't think his hair color was relevant, but
Is there a reason that
No.
Preservation and Ruin had different? Their hair was described differently.
because
I mean, I will once again mention that the people do like. I mean, Vin's hair was black because Vin's hair was black, and then when Sayes takes up the powers, he doesn't have hair.
I love how Casey's trying to delicately like lead you by the hand to a conclusion, and she's just derailing those
Look.
cases together.
Carrick has of about balance. So no hair means they're not taking a side.
Vin. Also Raffo, but
Also Raffo, but
Okay, so about this scene, like I'm really disappointed that I can't find any art with Vin and Ellen, but also Spook like watching over them.
yeah, like the group.
I looked and I don't think I found any. If I did, it would be in the other art folder because there's a lot of. I did find a lot of Spook for you in the other folder, but
Okay.
yeah, I don't think I found one of that scene.
So many.
All of them, yeah.
If you want art and it doesn't exist, you have to make it.
Oh,
Oh, no.
man! Oh no!
Yeah.
02.
I was gonna commission Max to do it.
I'm hungry.
I want you guys to know that this art right here is called. It's one of the official arts in the Leatherbound, and it's called Defending Preservation. It's fun.
Gives a lot of feeling.
I have so many preservation feelings. Don't talk to me. Spook.
Yay!
Yeah, there's a couple spooks
Oh,
in here.
I love that one.
Yeah,
I love this one.
that's one of my favorite arts. Is because it's got the
so-
symbols and it's their dance scene. He's got his book. It's so freaking cute.
It's so
It's one of my
pretty.
favorite ones. Yeah.
And I just love I love the symbols around it. This is so dramatic. So sweet.
Yes,
Spook is dramatic, so why wouldn't?
I am Spook.
That's supposed to be Beldra, I assume.
Yeah, that's Beldra. Yeah, I wouldn't
I
include
hate Beldra.
with Beldra's basic ass in there.
She's so underdeveloped.
I was surprised when I found that picture. There's like multiple arts of Spook and Beldra, and I'm like, did anybody care about that? Anyways,
Apparently,
I mean,
someone
she's
cared.
fine. I don't like not like
I
her.
love this one so
Yeah,
much.
This is one of the
We
ones
have
from the
to.
Leatherbounds. It's a
Right.
huge like collage piece. It's got like pictures from all 3 books, and it's so beautiful. Like you see
So much.
Killshear getting
I
speared
love
in the
it.
background.
Casual.
Casual.
Just casual.
That's casual.
Casual spirit. You can see Vin fighting all the Inquisitors.
Yes.
Mhm.
And
Such a
Tensu's just like
insider.
bouncing off there.
Yep.
Yeah.
More
Survivor of the Flames.
I thought that one was cute.
That was real cute.
That's a Vin
Oh,
with
like that.
human.
That's cool.
That's her
Yeah.
chilling with human. I thought that
That's
was
the
a nice
best.
one.
That's the best one I've seen so far.
Yeah, I
It's
like
really
that.
That's my favorite one.
different.
Yeah, it's a nice style too. Sazed.
Yes.
It's being assazed.
Yeah, there was multiple of Spook and Beldra. It was
Yeah,
like-
I hate Beldra. Get it out. Just kidding.
well, I had to include. Oh, this is okay. This is one of my favorite arts actually because, that's Sazed in Preservation and Ruin and Vin. That's all of them. Just in like a fancy looking like window art. It's
Yeah.
really cool.
That would be good in like a stained glass window.
Exactly. I think that's like what it's like the art was going for, and it's so pretty. It's like all the people who held the powers. I love it. Spook.
Spook. I love Spook so much. I'm
I added a
sorry.
bunch of Spook art because you didn't really get much Spook art before because all the Spook art is of Spook with the freaking blindfold.
Yeah, all of it
Right?
has
Couldn't
the
include it in
blindfold.
the previous live show arts is because all the Spook art is
Oh, I like that
free
one.
Spook. This is
That's
Preservation.
cool.
Misty Man. I love him so much. Don't talk
Misty
to me.
Man.
We called him Misty Man for a long time.
Well, before we knew he was Preservation, we called him Misty Man, and now I just
Love
call him
it.
Presby.
Is this
Is this
supposed to be
March?
March?
I think that one's Marsh because like lots
Because of
spikes.
the amount of
We got-
spikes.
All the
Yeah.
spikes.
All
I like
the
that.
spikes.
I too cackle into the sky. Yeah, there's so many spikes.
So many spikes.
Okay, that's the last one.
Yes, after
I
that
do like
scene.
how they were talking about how like for the Inquisitors, like their brain changes.
Yeah, like it,
Mhm.
like everything moves around to
Like
make
their
the spike
heart's in a
work.
different place.
Yeah,
Really cool.
which is nice that you get an explanation on that. You're not like just like why aren't they dead? There's spikes in their brain.
Yeah.
Like it's still weird, but like at least there's a explanation for it. I hope you can read these, Casey, because they're all small.
Thinking Ruin is about to get all the adium in Fadric City. Realizing Kandra have all the adium safely stored under the metal plate. Learning Kandra have metal spikes in every one. It's like, no, no!
The roller coaster of emotions.
Says after determining that all his religions were false, guess I'll become God.
I think that meme has made it into every single meme we've done for Mistborn,
Yeah.
and it brings me true joy.
Love
my
it.
my favorite one is the Kelsier one because of the like
Because they drew
MS
the mist
paint.
look on them.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Mistborn prologue. They say I will hold the future of the entire world on my arms. Then Brandon Sanderson exaggerated wink.
On his arms. I wonder what that could mean.
Vin, anyone could be a kinder spy. There's nobody I can trust. Well, nobody but you or Sir Tensoon as a polar bear with a penguin beak.
I realized that's more well of Ascension, but it was just too funny to me. I had to include
That's
it.
great.
It gave me joy. It gave me joy. Oh, that's so tiny.
It's
So
a
tiny.
meme for ants.
That is accurate.
Says, do you
This
ever
is
just
me and
remember
Sila.
Hero of Ages? And it says, yeah, that was a great book. And it has a picture of SpongeBob smiling with an overlay of him screaming.
That's how I feel about Hero of
That's
Ages.
still me and Sila.
But it is definitely a meme for ants.
It is a meme for ants. I can't see the size of them when I'm adding them in there because like they're normal size to me when I save them.
Yeah.
Right.
Person on Scadrial, write something. Ruin. Unfortunately for you, history will not see it that way.
Oh, ruin.
And then Sage as the announcer declaring himself as the hero of Ages.
Oh my god.
That was real good.
That was good.
Kelsey's crew doing important things. Ooh.
Oh,
It's okay, he did important things in the end.
But he's so cute.
He did important things in the end.
It's okay, he's real
I
cute.
speak so much.
Finn, in the Final Empire, kills an immortal many saw as a god. Finn, when she learns about Ruin. Want to see me do it again?
It's a good time. It's a good time.
Thinking about how cute Finn and Ellen's relationship is. Remembering how they both die in Hero of Ages.
basis.
Right? One taught me love. Mistborn. One taught me patience. Well, Ascension. One taught me pain. Hero of Ages.
That's
True
my
journey.
favorite.
That is
Isn't
so
that the
perfect.
Random Ariana Grande meme is real great.
Love it.
Straff wanting an Alamancer child, Elend, and it just shows someone about to bash him over the head with a chair. I assume that's how that went.
Yeah.
Probably.
Being like Kelsier's bones, literally anyone.
I love that scene so much when he puts out the Kelsier bones. It's a good time.
Mom, there's a monster under my bed. It's the most hideous thing I've ever seen. Why do you hate me, brother?
I saw that one and I literally like laughed out loud. I was like, this isn't even that funny. I just laughed so hard. So I had to put it in there.
It
But
really
it
explains their
is.
It
relationship,
really
though.
got me. It got me. Like I wasn't expecting it.
It's like, start a revolution, kill the Lord Ruler, free Ruin, and trigger the apocalypse. Fuck. That's how I read those memes. Like, the second one is like, fucking goddamn it.
Like, wait, what did I just do?
Right.
These are really good.
That is
Yeah.
the end of the memes.
Yeah, it was so hard finding memes for like Final Empire and Well Ascension because it's like I had to pertain to that book and no spoilers. But this one it was just like any Mistborn meme will do. Bro.
Anything will
not
go.
any Mistborn meme. Any Era 1 Mistborn meme will do.
Right.
It's like every time I'm trying to look for specific book memes, I always see ones for like a thing that's later, and I'm like, God damn it! Every time I found so many good ones, I started saving for Era 2, so I already have them.
Nice.
There's a lot of ones for Era 2.
Oh yes. Oh, Alex, we did that one. I think in like the Final Empire. Final Empire.
Yeah.
One. I had that one. That like comic. It was in one of them. Yeah. Okay, so we need to do the giveaway, which I think like 5 people entered. It's getting shorter and shorter every time, guys. The odds are skyrocketing. Let me pull it
He
up.
is an
here.
inquisitor.
Oh my god! Please
We'll
tell
let
me.
you all
I
know.
didn't. Okay. Giveaway. Spinning the wheel for the giveaway.
Giveaway dance.
Where are you? Come on, spin. There we go. It's coming.
It's slow today.
It's Sela.
It's Sheila, my child.
You win. You won one. Sela. Are you still here?
I assume she's crying.
It's good.
From winning. Of happiness.
Sela, you won the Hero of Ages giveaway.
So proud of my twin. Woohoo!
Yes. Yes. I still need to send out the last 3 of them.
Yes, I am still
Fine.
here.
Don't worry about it. They're coming. Yay. Alrighty. Woo. So,
Any other final?
anything else? Anybody?
Good question. Any predictions for what Era 2 will hold?
Oh yeah, that's a good idea. Let's do that.
I have a
Anybody
prediction.
Ooh.
Spence, you don't
You're
get to
not
talk because you already read one book of Era 2. You
I
don't
also
talk.
don't get to speak, so
Okay,
it's
so
fine.
Steph and Max and Katrina, if you would like to, any predictions for Era 2? Just like a basic prediction. Just give us something. Or something you want to see in Era 2. If you don't have a
Yeah.
prediction of what
Is
will.
religion going to continue to play a role or no?
Religion always plays a role in
If
fantasy.
religion always plays a role. I mean, yeah, that's a heavy theme in the Cosmere in general, so yes. Like, that's not a
So-
spoiler to say yes.
I would like to see the economics of metal supply and metal shortage.
Okay. Interesting. And anything
I just
else?
want more flowers.
Guess what?
Thank you,
just want
Katrina.
flowers.
Thank you.
And pretty dresses.
We didn't get any
So-
flowers for like 3 books. It's about time.
It's okay. The flowers are here now. The flowers
They're
are good.
coming.
Are there any happy endings in the Cosmere?
Well, we only have the one ending.
We don't
so
have
far.
any other endings but this.
That's true.
Spence. It's our only real ending.
I mean, in book
Oh,
endings.
no.
Next year we'll have our ending to Era 2, which I don't expect to be as heavy or hard as this era's ending, because this obviously like the way this era ends is like it's such an ending that it's like everything's like being it's like the reset button got hit, like, you know what I mean, like they the world ended.
We don't
basically.
expect the world to end again.
We don't expect the world to end again, so it's like I don't expect like as such a high stakes ending for Era 2 is what I'll say there. That's all I'll say on that.
Mhm.
I don't know that it'll be happy, but I don't think it'll be like this dark and heavy throughout. And then Stormlight is split into 2 arcs, and we are going to get book 5 after that, and that's going to be its own ending. I'm not
going to be okay.
My predictions are not.
I mean, it's halfway
hopeful.
through. It's not gonna.
Well, it's its own ending though. Like he specifically states that is an ending. Like he's writing it as an ending. So
technically, yeah.
Book
and
5
then it's the other, and then it's like the second 5 or whatever.
Yeah. It's like the front 5 and the back 5. They're like.
But so far, we have no idea. Maybe eventually.
We have no idea if there's going to be a happy ending in the Cosmere. I have no proof to show you. Only my hopes, and they aren't high based on what I've read thus far.
So I know you guys always refer to Era 2 as like the Yeehaw era, right? So there's going to be cowboys and guns. So
yeah, it's like flintlock fantasy.
Okay, so can I guess maybe that given that everyone who survived will be able to kind of document what happened, everyone's gonna know, hey, you should put spikes in yourself because then shit's gonna go down. So they find another way to control the metal, like through an extension of themselves. Are we gonna get like a Wanted scenario where they're like curving bullets, like pew?
I'm gonna give you raffles on that because once you start Era 2, like you'll get right into like the world of like how things have changed in the progression. It's 300 years later. I can tell you that much because you find that out right away. It's 300 years later. It's not really a spoiler. Can confirm, Spence says.
I will add that I don't know. I don't think this is a spoiler at all, but I feel like the Yeehaw thing was a little bit misleading. I feel like it's more. No, I feel like it's more steampunk than Yeehaw.
See, okay, it's absolutely not. It's absolutely not. People like this. Like people, the misleading thing is when people say that Era 2 is steampunky. It has like I can see how you would pick up a steampunk element, but it's not steampunk. Like if you read steampunk fiction, it is not.
Oh, I don't.
Steampunk fiction.
I have read steampunk. It's not steampunk.
I see so many people will like say that it's steampunk, and I'm like, you're getting people's hopes up. It's absolutely more Western than steampunk. Like there's elements that feel steampunky, like there absolutely are, but it's not steampunk.
I feel like you don't get a lot of the Yeehaw sense in that first book, but there's more of it. But also it's the era of it.
Like the whole era feels very Western. Like the era itself. Like this era is medieval. Like this is the medieval era.
Yeah.
That's the Western era. After that, we're gonna have an 80s era. After that, we get the space age era. Like it's just like
Era 2 would be post a Victorian era. It would be like the 20s. Probably like 1910s, 20s, early 1900s to 20s.
Yeah.
Where like they're starting to get more, like they're starting to learn more and understand more and everything.
Yes. That's one thing I will say is that like in the epigraphs in Hero of Ages, like it talks about how like specifically like the Lord Ruler kept the world from advancing, like his 1,000 years, nothing changed. Because he was like keeping things that way. He was specifically not like introducing people to things that could develop and change and progress. And so now that like that's not a thing, you will, exactly. Like that's one of the references is specifically gunpowder. And so like you will see now that the world can progress and can change, where it goes in the next era. Like you'll get to see a lot of that, and it's really interesting. That's all I'll say on that.
Yeah, it would definitely be considered like flintlock fantasy, which is
yeehaw.
Yeehaw.
It's just more fun to say yeehaw than it's like westerny, it's just yeehaw.
Did you read the prologue, Spence? Because that prologue is pure Western.
It's
pure Western.
It's very that prologue.
Spence, did you even read the book?
No, I did. I mean, it did a little bit, but I would say more so in book 2, it felt more yeehaw than book 1.
No, I absolutely cool. Like, okay, book 1 starts specifically it starts yeehaw, but then it moves a bit to like it was talking about this too.
Yeah,
he's on book 2. He's on book 2 of Era 2 right now. He literally is breezing so fast. I was like, we don't get to Era 2 until July,
right?
Jesus.
But we knew this was gonna happen. We can't stop him.
We can't. I'm just saying,
you're gonna reach him.
You're gonna want to slow down, and you're gonna want to read Row with everybody else. Like let that one be the one you read at the pace of everybody else.
I think all the Stormlights with everyone else.
I think that will be, but I know Spence ain't gonna listen, so I'm trying to pitch only one book. I'm trying to compromise because I know Spence won't listen. But yeah, like you're already ahead of schedule. Like shut up. The ye shall ha.
I got that.
That's great.
Does anyone else have any predictions, questions?
Yeah. Anything else that we should touch on before we
Random
wrap
sentences.
this up? Random sentences you just.
I have actually, while we were talking, thought of another question, but I don't know if it's going to spoil something for somebody because of something I know that you've mentioned in the chat. But like, okay,
is it something outside of like these 3 books, or what we've read in the Cosmere so far?
Partially.
I'm guessing Elantris then, because Steph hasn't read it.
No. Okay, I'll tell you in the chat. Meet me in the chat after.
Okay, I'm here.
Okay.
I'm ready.
Is that
ready for
the end of the live show then?
I mean, I think so. I think so. Thank you, everybody, for coming to hang out with us. Like we said, next month we're doing White Sand. I don't know what the deal is going to be with the live show for that, so I'm going to figure that out like in the next couple of days, so we can
all
get
3 volumes.
All the stuff. Yeah, we're going to read all 3 volumes because it's graphic novels, so it'll go fast. But yeah, that's that. Yeah. I forgot how to end things. I'm like so out right now.
Make sure you subscribe to everyone here. All their links are in the description if you haven't done that yet already.
Yes.
And join us in the Discord if you haven't
yet. You're part of the Discord if you're not already. It's the most fun place to be.
And we will see you again next month.
We will see you again next month. White Sand / maybe just Cosmere mid-year.
Yeah, maybe a midway
situation. Yeah, we'll see. I've got thoughts. We'll figure that out very soon, so you guys can know what to plan for. All right, thank you, everybody. Bye.